Yo, yeah, that's B-Eazy, that's the name. Way before the world knew he was running the game. Laid the groundwork, built the foundation strong. Been influencing the whole scene all along. Now everybody gotta give that man his praise. A living legend for the rest of his days. Oh, he deserves all the accolades, yeah. B-Eazy, B-Eazy. Gotta give that man his praise. A living legend for the rest of his days. Oh, he deserves all the accolades. B-Eazy. B-Eazy. He got that certain kind of profile, smooth and effortless style.
He's so fresh.
Makes the whole room stop and stare a while. Hear him asking,
who's that?
Mama, there he goes again. The way he moves, you know he's gonna win.
Oh, you ain't know?
That's just B-Eazy.
B-Eazy Dat Dude.
That man right there.
B-Eazy.
B-Eazy Dat Dude. B-Eazy Dat Dude. Yeah, they know the name. Stacking up the paper, but having money ain't a thing. Standing on business, burning hotter than a flame. From the block to the boardroom, you gotta stand the rain. B-Eazy Dat Dude. Yeah, they know the name. Stacking up the paper, but having money ain't a thing. Standing on business, burning hotter than a flame. From the block to the boardroom, you gotta stand the rain. Big block engine with 26 inches on the chrome I ride. Started at the bottom, soared to the top and still on the ride. Air handshake solid, seal the deal airtight. He gave you the blueprint to grind and get your hustle right. Money in the vision, it was dirty but he washed it clean. Turned a dollar to a dream, now he living like a king. From the late nights grinding to the early bird moves. Ask around the city, he really that dude. He love how he talk it cause he walk it too. Every step calculated, everything come through. From the hood by the views, yeah, the rooftop views. He the bridge between the struggle and the good life view. Never fold under pressure, shine like a diamond in the sun. Every loss was a lesson, every win is hard won. Now the crowd chant his name when he steps in the room. B-Eazy Dat Dude, yeah, you know he's the truth. B-Eazy Dat Dude, yeah, they know the name. Stacking up the paper, but having money ain't a thing. Standing on business, burning hotter than a flame. From the block to the boardroom, you gotta stand the rain. B-Eazy Dat Dude, yeah, they know the name. Stacking up the paper, but having money ain't a thing. Standing on business, burning hotter than a flame. From the block to the boardroom, you gotta stand the rain.
Yeah, yeah. Listen up. It's B-Eazy Dat Dude, the great. He ain't fake, he one of the real guys. Spin fire every stream, you been late to the party, now it's time to realize. From Pittsburgh to around the world, yeah, the flow is elite. Every beat that he slide on turns into straight heat. Came up from the grind, selling box on a laptop, running up a bag, feel like he hit the jackpot. Got the luxury visions, ambition vivid, never bluff. Purses, progress, persevere when the going gets tough. B-Eazy Dat Dude, got stripes in the game. Every rhyme, every line, they gon' remember the name. From the streets to the stage, the energy don't fade. Legend in the making, yeah, history's what he's laid. Mic in his hand, heart in the flow and soul on every beat. Dropping knowledge, power, bravado, his legacy complete. Hustle amplified, lyrics electrified, that's the truth. B-Eazy Dat Dude, established with certified proof. Feel the bass, feel the vibe, let it ride through the crowd. All the words, every hook, man, he keeps making us proud. King of his lane, rising above every feud. All hail the one and only, one and only, one and only. B-Eazy Dat Dude. Yeah. Yeah.
He always do it big, You know who it is. B-Eazy, B-Eazy, B-Eazy that dude. He on his way to the top and he ain't about to stop. You thought he would flop and didn't wanna give him props. The things you dreaming about he already did do. Now it's time to soak a game. He about to give you like, share, follow, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to tune in when he goes live. Make a contribution if you feeling the content. Tap into the realness if you tired of the nonsense. I mean no disrespect, ain't trying to sound rude, but the world already knows that B-Eazy's that dude. Ooh.
We all here to see B-Eazy. We wanna listen to B-Eazy. Ayy, we all like B-Eazy. Nah, matter of fact, we love B-Eazy. Believe me, he really that dude. Subscribe to the channel, it's easy to do. If you care, then go ahead and share this fire content, extraordinarily rare. That's why I put that on my mama, he is that dude. And I put that on my daddy, he is that dude. So, ayo, who is that dude? Oh girl, that's just B-Eazy. Oh boy, that's just B-Eazy. Well, who is B-Eazy? Oh, you ain't know, he been a pro for show, all about the dough. He been running up them racks and still trying to get some more. Don't care about the fame, just trying to gain and grow. He really one of them ones, his presence so pivotal. So hell yeah, he that dude, this is unequivocal.
Turn your radios up. Turn your radios up. Y'all know what this is. Y'all know who this is. B-Eazy Dat Dude, an impromptu stream back with another one. This one is gonna be a banger. We'll ruffle some feathers, so it will be a doozy. I don't like to keep y'all waiting. So before we get this thing started, you know, gotta hit you.
If you know the song, sing along. Yeah, you're right.
私も地元民。と言ってもさすがにです。もう友達できたの？うん。ぶったまんまこっち見ない。
Catch up like 10 steps ahead. Look, this promethazine got me leaning like a cholo in the club. I'm 20 deep. I don't be riding solo. Pull some bad bitches, they vanilla and cocoa. They wanna take some photos when we kick it out in Soho. Chicks are showing tits and popping pussy for my promo. Told them like juvenile, baby, move it for me slow mo. Then I'm right back to the block, cause I keep getting moto. I be flipping, not shrinking. I don't give a fuck about no ho, no ho. This nigga name ain't D-Lo, but pimpin' these bitches and stacking this bread forever be my stilo. This is B-Eazy Dat Dude. In the trap making pass smooth. If I ever go broke, then I'm about to pull a jack move. Since a nigga healthy, I don't even gotta worry. With my bitch from Fiji, eating tandoori and chicken curry. That ism is really envy. My pimp game international. I design my own clothes, so I be always looking fashionable. It's a couple facts about me that y'all didn't know. Some of y'all be getting bread, but I be getting bigger, dawg. I got bigger guns and a whole lot of bad. And we are activated, and it looks like we've already been joined by some illustrious guests. Mr. Early, Never Late, Chakra King. We got the Canadian brethren, Ashura. Ashura, I don't know where the heck you been, but glad you slid through today. We got the East Coast finest, Mr. Nassau County, Roger Meadows. We got none other than the eloquent, the elegant, and the exquisite, the Tory Experience. We got none other than the marvelous my boo, what it did it do, and A-Tay Bay, A-Tay Bay, in building. And Assurance says, don't call me a Canadian. Hey, my bad. I didn't think I was gonna have to do it, but you said don't call you a Canadian. Ashura. See, Ashura, I wouldn't know what to call you if you would have been over here, bro. You haven't been over here. You've been MIA, and then you pop up like Peekaboo. Where the heck you been, Ashura? But you said don't call you a Canadian. Don't worry. I'll issue an apology. Here's your apology, Ashura.
Talo. Sorry.
Sorry. I won't call you a Canadian. What is the appropriate way to identify you? What is your pronoun? Melanated, Haitian, what? Let me know. But sorry. And we got last call, Mr. Midnight Soul, chatting from an undisclosed location in Northern America. And shout out my boo, the marvelous. Hey, I appreciate you. I love the support. And I hope you're doing good as well, last call. So we're going to get right into it. Y'all seen the title. Y'all seen the thumbnail. It may be a bit of a tongue twister. Bamboozled by the buck-broken, butt-kissing, boot-licking Bozos and Bimbos. Now, I could have added a brain dead in there. Bamboozled by the brain-dead, buck-broken, butt-kissing, boot-licking Bozos and Bimbos. Try to say that 3 times fast, right? So we have these butt-kissing and boot-licking Bozos and Bimbos who have been propped up to be the overseers of the Black community. If they have one drop of melanin, then they say, hey, we all Black, and then suddenly they speak for us. No, many of these people actually aren't Black. Some of them are just melanated. And just because they are Black, that doesn't mean anything. The days of flat Blackness are over. You've sucked whatever you could get from that grift, and those days are over. They're not completely over, but they're fast coming to an end, right? When you're looking at any of these other communities that are engaging in identity politics, they will acknowledge that, hey, someone else is Asian, someone else is white, someone else is native or indigenous, but they don't conflate and lump everyone up into one mishmash group, ethnically and culturally erasing people, and pretend that people are just interchangeable, right? I always give this analogy because it's irrefutable and it's easy to understand. There's a reason why they have Chinatowns everywhere. Chinese people acknowledge that they're Asian, but they don't want to create an Asia town everywhere. They create Chinatown. Koreans are Asian. They acknowledge that they're Asian. They don't want to create an Asian town everywhere. They want a separate Koreatown, a separate Chinatown, a separate Japantown. I named 3 different Asian groups, but all have separate identities and practice separate politics. But there's one group that they try to pretend that you can't separate. They'll tell you to your face, hey, Black people aren't a monolith, but then they try to monolithically pretend as if we're no different than a Jamaican. We're no different from someone from Sierra Leone. You're no different from someone from South Sudan, right? They acknowledge the ethnic sovereignty of all of these other groups, but with us, we have to get lumped into we all black. No, we're not. And even if we are black, we're not all foundational Black American freedmen. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Just as well as there's nothing wrong with a Chinese person drawing a line in the sand and saying there is a distinction from me being Chinese and Japanese. I can't look at a Filipino person and say, hey, I know that you guys love eating lumpia, but didn't that originate in Japan? No, lumpia didn't originate in Japan. And just because Japanese people are Asian, these type of cultural cuisines, these type of cultural nuances is not just interchangeable, right? I'm a foundational Black American freedman. Part of my culture is not creating or eating jerk chicken, goosey soup, jollof. Nothing against that. It's just not part of my culture, right? In order for me to highlight what culture it is a part of, we need to disaggregate. We need to delineate. We need to draw a distinction. It's not really about being divisive, right? Even though division is good, it's about being direct and being accurate. So that is going to set up the discussion. I'm going to go ahead and react to this video from some of the people of this buck broken, brain dead boule class. And it starts with the people over here. Angela Rye with lettuce and eggs on the side. We got Andrew Drillum Gillum, Bakari Sellout or Bakuni Sellout. And they are part of the Native Land Pod. This is with iHeartRadio, so you already know what they're going to be about. They're going to be towing the line for the Democratic establishment. Go figure. Now, there will be a bit of contention and pushback on here. This episode is about 33 minutes long. I cannot stomach to watch it this long. However, if you guys want me to do an extended breakdown of this, I will consider it, but I'm only going to play about 10 minutes of it because I think that's all I can stomach. And I think in that 10 minutes, I'll give a substantive breakdown. And we've been joined by Frank Nitty, Mr. Gritty, putting on for the bitty. Salute to Frank Nitty. Let's get into it. So this is Angela Rye, Andrew Gillum, and Bakari Sellout. They are debating the DSA. The DSA is the Democratic Socialists of America versus the Democrats. Now, mind you, these people are about party. They put party over policy. They put crony capitalism, oligarchs, and donors over the community. Now, they will pretend as if they're representing for the community, but they shamed, shunned, and were outright vitriolic towards the foundational Black American grassroots. And now many of them are trying to double back, explain, and say, hey, no, we actually agree with some of those grassroots talking points. So we're going to get into it, right? But hold on. You said too much adjectives. Well, I told you, okay, you said just Haitian. That's fine. I was like, well, what I'm going to call you, okay? And hold on. I just want to make sure I didn't miss. You said, goosey soup is called egusi soup, EGUSI. So look that up. So actually, I'll give you an exact breakdown. See, I told you, I'm here to teach, right? So a goosey soup is a rich, hearty West African dish made from ground melon seeds, leafy vegetables, and assorted meats or fish, commonly served with fufu or pounded yam. So what I'm saying is, this has nothing to do with my culture. I never grew up eating that, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm sure that it's delicious. I'm just saying I can't claim that, right? And I can't try to say, hey, I have some drop of African ancestry, so therefore this is my culture. No, it's not, right? A lot of this cuisine is based on the environmental availability of certain agriculture, right? So if you don't have access to certain spices, then you're going to spice your food a different way. You're going to use different product, and different ingredients to flavor and texturize your food, So we can't just try to pretend that it's all the same. We can't pretend that because Japanese people are Asian and Cambodians are Asian, that somehow Cambodians created sushi, or that sushi is Cambodian culture. They're all Asian. No, it doesn't make sense, right? So no, a goosey soup, jerk chicken, jollof, bushmeat, naan curry, curried goat, none of that is part of my culture. And I'm not denigrating or disparaging that cuisine. I'm just saying it's different. In order for me to know the delicacy and the delightfulness of the differences and distinctions, I need to delineate. I need to disaggregate. So it's about cultural and ethnic preservation. I'm surprised these bootlicks didn't get 1 mil subs for selling out. Who knows what they got? There's nothing socialist about Diaz. It was created by Zionists and CIA. Yeah, we'll get into that. Okay, it's like Haitian broth. Yeah. And many of them, it's just kind of like, I think sometimes people will compare jollof to jambalaya. They're similar, but different, right? And I always tell people similar is not the same. A grapefruit looks similar to an orange, but we know a grapefruit is not an orange. So yeah, it may be similar to Haitian broth, but Haitian broth is created a different type of way, has a different type of flavor. I'm not saying one is better than the other. That's up to you to make that determination. But we need to just stop trying to collapse and pretend like they're all the same just because it comes from a melanated group. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so freely. It won't cost you a fee. Like, share, comment. All of those are free. But if you are feeling generous, you can hit me on the Cash App, $Easy Stack, right up on your screen. Let's get into it.
If we can pull that tweet up, there was a Twitter paraphrase from the NYC DSA co-chair. In that tweet, he basically is saying that he wants to use the Democratic Party as a vehicle for their wins, for the primary elections. DSA co-chair, the quote, "We're using the Democratic Party as a ballot access vehicle, not because we share its goals. We build our own organization, get elected under the Democratic label, caucus with Democrats when it's useful, and push our own agenda from the inside. We see the Democratic establishment as an obstacle, not a home," end quote. We've seen things from a former DNC chair, Jamie Harrison, saying things like, don't use our resources, don't use our vehicle, our space, if you're not aligned with our values. But y'all, remember, Democratic Party is a big tent party. So who's to say Medicare can't be for all? Who's to say that there shouldn't be a livable wage? I think that we agree with a lot of those values. So Bakari, Republican Bakari, almost Republican Bakari, Blue Dog Democrat Bakari. What is the problem? Like, why is the big tent only applied to moderate?
So just to be clear, this video will be done under fair use, and I will be switching back and forth. So just so y'all know, right? Now, before we get into it, she's calling Bakari a Republican. And that's considered like a dirty word, especially in the Black community. And I believe that too many in the Black community are too fixated on these pageantry labels, right? I'm a leftist. I'm a Marxist. I'm a communist. And they try to put these labels and titles before their community, before their Blackness, right? They believe that we're in this colorblind utopia and that they're building a coalition of leftists, but then those leftists turn around and let you know that it is about race. The leftists, the Marxists, the communists, they try to pretend like, hey, we're fighting for something bigger and it transcends race, right? But then at the end of the day, you're going back into your segregated enclave. So there's a Black leftist and a white leftist, and you guys are supposedly fighting for the same issues, except that white leftist lives in a segregated enclave where there's no Black people around. And you're supposed to be convinced that, hey, we're fighting for the same thing because we're in the same class. Are you really, though? There's a poor Black dude and a poor white dude. You're in the same class, but the only difference is that poor white dude has a mommy and daddy to go back to that owns their own property. The black dude comes from poverty, comes from dilapidated buildings, right? So it's not the same. They try to pretend as if you're in the same. Well, you can be in the same class and not in the same boat. You heard it here first. You can be in the same class and not in the same boat. I knew plenty of white people who grew up with a silver spoon. They hung around black dudes and they were exiled and ostracized from their family, but their family still had wealth. Their family still had means. Their family still had good credit. Their family still had inheritance to pass down. And we're supposed to be convinced that because there's some poor white dude standing next to a poor black dude, that they're in the same class, so the struggle is the same because they're both poor. No, you can go back to mommy and daddy. You can beg your mommy and daddy and say that, hey, I made a mistake. I want to come back home. The black person doesn't have any home to go back to because he's homeless and his parents have either passed away or his parents are homeless. So how is that the same? They're in the same class. Yeah, the same class, but not the same boat. Same class, but not the same struggle. But we're supposed to pretend that the struggle is the same. There's two dudes that work at McDonald's. One is white, one is black. So on paper, they're in the same class. The only difference is the black dude is homeless, so he's living out of this car. And the white dude who works at McDonald's is going back home to a 3-bedroom house or a 4-bedroom house. But hey, he works at McDonald's just like the black dude. It's the same. No, it's not. And that's what these Marxists, these communists, these socialists, these capitalists, all of these labels, the Republicans, the Democrats, you put this before your identity. They tell you not to play identity politics, and then they talk about, I'm a leftist. Oh, so that's your identity. So you are playing identity politics. I'm a right-wing MAGA. Okay, that's identity politics. All politics is identity politics. You try to pretend as if it's not. When you're pushing trans issues, that's identity politics. When you're talking about evangelical Christians, identity politics. When you're talking about the Jewish people, identity politics. Free Palestine, identity politics. We need to win the Muslim vote, identity politics. Talking about we need to court Latino voters, identity politics. A woman's right to choose, identity politics. All politics is identity politics. When they're pandering about DEI and affirmative action, identity politics. Hey, we need to help people, who are beneficiaries of DACA. Oh, you mean a particular status of immigrants? That's identity politics. So people are not against identity politics. They're only against the politics when their identity is not being basically brought to the forefront. And we've been definitely joined by the Florida fam, sunlight from the Sunshine State, shining brighter than a diamond. Salute to sunlight. I'm an independent. The only thing Friedman needs to be, yes, what I'm saying. All of y'all should be independent, right? You can say that the Democrats, if you want to vote Democrat, fine. You should at the very least be registered as an independent. You need to make these parties compete for your vote. If they already know that you're going to vote blue no matter who, or vote for any party no matter what, why should they try to court your vote? They already know that they have it in the tank. It's just like you at the club, right? You see one girl that you want to smash and you never smashed before, and then you see another girl that you smashed over and over and over and over again. You're not going to be trying to buy drinks for the girl that you smashed over and over again because you know that she gonna give it up. Yeah, I know that I can ignore you. I can know that I don't have to buy you no drinks. I know that I don't have to spit no game. I know that I don't have to dance with you because you gonna come home with me anyways. And then you look over, why didn't he court me? Why didn't he cook me dinner? Why didn't he give me any roses? Why? Because you're gonna bust it open anyways. So why would I spend money on getting you flowers? That's not what you require. You don't require flowers. You don't require moonlight dinners and things like that, So why would I change?
So that's how it is with the Democrats, right? If you're going to vote blue no matter who, why would they care about your vote? They'll lie to you and say that you're the backbone of the party. Black people are the backbone of the party. So what are you going to do to help the backbone of the Democrat Party? Oh, we're going to help the backbone of the Democratic Party by flooding your community with immigrants, because this is a nation of immigrants built by immigrants. It's like, okay, how does that help my community? Well, it doesn't help your community, but it helps people of color. But hold on, which community are we talking about? It pivoted from talking about the black community to minorities and marginalized groups. But do they talk about marginalized people on marginalized people crime, or do they talk about black on black crime? They say, what about black on black crime? Okay, how are we going to stop the black on black crime? Oh, we'll just bring in a bunch of non-black immigrants. Surely that will help the black community, right? So let's see what else we got. I still had 3 degrees of separation from wealth. Correct. Yeah. So people got to just stop with this whole class consciousness. Just because you're in the same class doesn't mean you're in the same struggle. Let's get back into it.
White
It
Democrats, but it doesn't apply.
And I think there are a lot of lessons.
The Bernies of the world.
I think, first of all, it does apply to the Bernies of the world, but we have to remember Bernie got outwardly rejected in the primary, not once, but twice. I mean, people try to act like the race was close. He lost by 4 million votes to Hillary Rodham Clinton. Yeah. I think.
Here we go with the Democrat Hillary, right? So he's saying Bernie got outright rejected, right? And shout out to the lovely, the magnificent melanated agenda. Salute to melanated. I appreciate you. Oh, and we've been joined by the New Orleans fam, the 504 boy, Woody Braxton. What it did do? So, no, he got, before I can say it, hey, you quick with the fingers, you are quick. That's why she is sunlight shining brighter than a diamond. She said what I was just about to say. No, he got outright sabotaged. So, Bakari, this is why I call him Bakari sellout or Bakuni sellout or Bussy Kari sellout, whichever one you prefer. Bakuni sellout is over here doing what the shield does. A shield is as shields do. He's over here saying Bernie outright got rejected in maneuver, but he isn't talking about the sabotage of the DNC. Who was he rejected by? And he is right. Bernie was rejected. He was rejected by the donor class. He was rejected by the establishment. He was rejected by the DNC demons, pretty much, you know what I mean? So Bakari is not going to say that, but we want to pretend as if he's over here. Hey, Bakuni it is. Bakuni sellout is over here pretending as if, oh yeah, it was fair and square, as if the DNC didn't rig it. And look, I did support Bernie's platform. However, I didn't support Bernie's disrespect to the foundational Black American freedmen community. Bernie Sanders is a bigoted buffoon to me. Yes, he's less bigoted than Joe Biden. You can look and say that, hey, well, Bernie stands for this issue or Bernie fights for this issue, but did he really fight for those issues? Bernie rhetorically fights. That's not a fight. Okay, think of it like this, right? If you had an army or a gang, or let's just say a faction, right? And that faction was being attacked financially, rhetorically, and sometimes physically. Would you want that group to only be able to fight rhetorically, or would you want them to have the capacity to fight on multiple fronts? If I have to fight financially, we will. If we have to fight physically, we will. If we have to fight rhetorically, we will. People like Bernie Sanders do this rhetorical fighting where he just shouts to the high heavens, but that's not fighting. That's talking. If you look at the civil rights movement, right, which people always try to harken back to the civil rights movement was foundational Black American freedmen standing on business. They was doing a little bit of talking. They was doing a lot of ass kicking too, right? They was shutting things down. There was blood in the streets. A lot of our blood was flowing in the streets, but it wasn't all our blood. We was whooping asses and taking names. We was getting our head bust, but we was busting some heads too. That's what fighting is. I'm not advocating for violence, but what I'm saying is you got to crack some eggs to make an omelet. Violence must always be on the table because violence is always on the table against us. You can't say that our enemies always have violence on the table to ostracize and subjugate us, but we have to operate in a non-peaceful manner. Nah, no. So when these people talk about Bernie Sanders was a fighter, no, Bernie Sanders is a talker. Bernie Sanders is a orator, right? He talks a good game, but what has he actually done? And all they can point to is Bernie Sanders gave a speech. Oh, he was talking. Bernie Sanders went on a podcast. Oh, he was talking. Bernie Sanders did an interview. Oh, he was talking, right? That's all they can point to is Bernie Sanders talking. And now the talking has turned into fighting. Come on now. Look at any sport. Boxers. Do you care about the boxers that talk a lot or the boxers that get in the ring and knock people out? Who has Bernie Sanders knocked out? When he could have knocked Biden out, he didn't knock Biden out. He kept saying, Joe is a good friend of mine. Biden didn't say that Bernie Sanders was his friend once. But Bernie kept saying that Biden is his friend over and over and over. You mean the crime bill, Joe? You mean the Joe who said, you ain't black if you don't vote for me? And here you got Bernie. Joe's a good friend of mine, right? Okay. Fuck Bernie Sanders. Is that plain enough for you? Bernie is anti-black too. He's against reparations for FBAs. That's what I'm trying to say. Bernie is a bigot, and people want to frame as if Bernie is a fighter. No, he's not. Bernie is a talker. And if you do want to say that he's a fighter, he's a rhetorical fighter. But how far does rhetorically fighting get you, right? If there's somebody on the block, do you respect the dude that's knocking people out or the dude that's talking about knocking people out? He's never knocked anyone out, but he talked a good game. No, we don't care about people who talk a good game. We care about people who have game, and we care about people who implement that game. That game turns into something tangible. And what has Bernie Sanders produced that was tangible? A speech, an interview, a podcast, a book? What has that done for you? So again, fuck Bernie Sanders. And it ain't just him. Biden, Obama, you can go down the list. Hillary, Rodham Clinton, Bill Clinton. They're all the same. Both parties are the same. Two cheeks on the same booty. Let's get back into it.
I think that there are things that can be learned from the elections that we saw and the victories. The first thing that I'll point out, though, is if you look at Colorado, which is the most recent election.
Not Colorado. Say it again.
Colorado. How you pronounce it?
Colorado. There's an L. I don't know who Colorado is.
Colorado.
Colo.
So again, first of all, that has nothing to do with being country, right? Let me go ahead and drop this down. That has nothing to do with being country. A, Buskari, Bakuni sellout.
What? Hope, please.
Nigga, please.
Hope. Nigga, what?
Nigga,
please.
Nigga, please.
What?
Bakuni sellout went to Morehouse, which is a prestigious all-black school, a liberal arts school, which is, that's a whole separate discussion, right? Bakuni sellout graduated, right? He is supposed to be a lawyer. He is supposed to be a political pundit, right? He was a former congressperson. And this goofy nigga doesn't know how to pronounce Colorado. And Angela Rye tries to come in, oh, you country and all this stuff. No, I get it, right? As being a foundational, and I do like this one too. I like this one. I had Bakuni, I had Bussy Kari, I had Bakari Sellout. I do like Buck Kari. This one is appropriate too. It's very apropos because he is a brain dead, buck broken bozo. And the most important aspect of buck breaking is not the physical damage, but the psychological damage. What you break someone psychologically don't really have to do much physically because you can just, tap a button and they'll do the tap dancing for you. Bernie voted for the crime bill in any war coup because migration problems in America. Most people don't want to leave their country, right? Yeah, but see, I'm not even going to go down there because I'll go on quite a bit of a harangue. But yeah, Bernie voted for the crime bill and said, "Oh, I voted for it because it had the Violence Against Women's Act." It's like, huh? No. So basically, again, that's more identity politics. He doesn't mind mass incarcerating a bunch of black people, but then he'll vote for a bill because it protects the women. Identity politics. But we'll get into it. They don't mind trying to do this gender divide and isolate. We support the women's right to choose. So they pretend as if they're standing up for women. But what women are they standing up for? So really think about this. They say that many women don't want to get an abortion. They do it because they have low funds, right? So instead of making sure that those women have funds and they can bring that baby to life and have some level of sustenance for the kid rather than have the baby. Hey, we'll just help you delete your baby. Surely that will help you, right? It won't take a psychological toll on you. You know what I mean? It won't take a physical toll on you. They go out of their way to help you KILL your baby. But when it comes to raising the baby, they'll say we're pro-life. And then they'll say there's no such thing as a free lunch. They'll say we're pro-life, but we don't mind the immigrants having kids, but with the black people, we'll help them KILL their kids. Hey, but we're pro-life. Huh? No, you're not. Just say that you want to practice eugenics, you believe in the master race and all this stuff. Stop pretending as if you care about life and specifically black life. Otherwise, you wouldn't be promoting KILL back of mass KILings of black babies. And shout out to the hardest working mod on YouTube, Vibrant Lowell. And the Tory experience, I didn't know you were still in here. Salute to you. But yeah, I'm just getting sick and tired of it, right? There's so many black women that are dying giving birth. And then they talk about their pro-life. If you're so pro-life, you could start with the maternal conditions of black women. Stop looking at black women like they're these savage beasts that they can just take all sorts of pain and, they lose their baby up. Oh, well, you can just go produce another one. You know what I mean? So they have to worry about the eugenics where people are trying to encourage them to unalive their own child. Then when they're a healthy person, they have to worry about the medical staff, sabotaging the birth of their children. There's all sorts of sick and twisted stuff going on. And the main people that are turning a blind eye and deaf ears are the people that say they're pro-life. So no, you're not pro-life. Many of you are just pro-birth, but you're not simply pro-birth. You're pro-white birth. Because on one hand, they'll say that, hey, black women, hey, you guys are aborting all your children, right? So they're just saying that black women are just these promiscuous sluts that get knocked up and then they go abort the baby, right? And then on the flip side, they'll say that black women are having all these babies. So which one is it? Are black women just aborting every baby that they have, or are they just having so many babies? And then if they are having so many babies, isn't that a biblical principle of being fruitful and multiply? You see, they don't care when the multiplication is white babies. Tucker Carlson said it and Elon Musk said it. They didn't say we need more babies. They said we need more white babies. But there's plenty of black babies. There are plenty of non-black babies being born. Shouldn't this be a beautiful thing if we're all created in the image of God? But no, we need people to crash out. We need people to say things plainly. We need people to stop pretending as if they care about black people. as if they care about non-white people. No, it's better for people to crash out. It makes you uncomfortable for someone to call you a nigger to your face, but it's better that them calling you that than them never call you it, and then they deny you a loan, and then they deny you a job. At least them saying it with their full chest, it doesn't give you these delusions of grandeur that we're in this post-racial utopia. And some people, they get in an interracial relationship and think, hey, because my baby daddy is black, or my girlfriend is Asian, or my wife is white, that suddenly we don't live in a system of white supremacy, a system that is built on anti-black subjugation. So, you know, excuse me, I just had to go on a bit of a harangue there. Oh, yes, no problem, Tori. You know, you in blue. And shout out to My. I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? Abortion is a white woman issue. Honest black women want to keep theirs and not be pressured into it. Correct. I don't know a bunch of black women that's just like, ooh, Lord, I want to abort my baby. I don't really know that. I know people that are encouraging them to abort their baby, but the black women I know, they want to have more babies. And if they did lose their baby based on some sort of physical complication or ailment, they're extremely distraught and devastated. It is no celebration because, you know, black life was terminated. You know what I mean? So, and the Democrats, they'll try to say that black people are the backbone of the party, right? But notice how the Democrats are never bring up the issue of black maternal rate. If you look at the rate, right, the rate is devastating, and the disparity is devastating when it compares to black women. But what they'll do is take those numbers and they know that it says black women, and then they'll frame it as a people of color issue. Like, this is not happening to people of color. There's a bunch of people that are come over here that are undocumented immigrants that are non-black, and they have no issues with their kids. So you mean to tell me that non-citizens are safer having a baby here than foundational black American freedom and women whose ancestors have fought, bled, and died for this country? They love to fly the flag. Guess who helped sew that flag? It was a foundational black American woman. Guess who shed the first blood fighting for this country? It was a foundational black American freedman named Crispic Attucks. And they want to tell you that someone from Tijuana, someone from Bogota, someone from Bangladesh, hey, they should have more of a right to come over here by legal or illegal means and have a baby in the American system, and they're just going to be honored as just as American as anyone else, right? And fine, okay, you know, we fought for that, but you can't tell me that that's the system that you want to set up while you're looking at black women dying disproportionately, black people, but I'm talking about black women here, right? Black people disproportionately dying from preventable health outcomes, right? You want to overlook that and tell me that, hey, we need to import somebody else from a country because they're poor. My people are dying on hospital beds in America, and you're going to overlook a black woman dying and saying, oh, what about a woman in Colombia? I'm just saying, we have to do better as a country. Bakari and the Buck Breakers live at Madison Square Garden, July 28th. Special guest, Sambo Oatmeal Raisin Clyburn with the Sideburns. Roger Meadows with a little bit of satire talking about the late native land coons and Sambos. Hey, I appreciate that, Ashura. Ashura, you said you love the rants, but I ain't seen you. Ashura, but I sincerely appreciate the support. And we appreciate you, B-Eazy, giving us good and real content. And, you know, I try. I know with all of the sector shenanigans, there's a lot of, you know, misinformation going on. So I do try to be a man of the people, take time out of my day to give y'all some substantive content that at least has some replay and enlightenment value. And yo to the yo, we got Mr. 350, the big block boat rider. Big Rig Slaps. You still going live? And Big Rig, I'm going to shut this down right around the time you go live. So let the people know if you still going live, Big Rig. I believe the brother is going live around 8:15, and that will be in California Pacific time. So salute to Big Rig. Sometimes I'm in the background in the lives and don't chat, but I'm there in support. Okay, I can respect that. As long as you still hear support, you don't always got to be visible, but as long as you are still listening, liking and viewing, that is still a contribution of support. So I do appreciate that. Let's get back into it though. And Big Rig will be live around 8. So let's say 8:15 or so. So tune in to Big Rig on the block with Big Rig. I'm sure he got some clips cooked up. So let's get back into it. But, oh, my bad. I went on a bit of a rant, but I want to let me rewind this back so we can hear what he said. But Bakari Sellout, this dude went to a prestigious, historically black college, right? And he's talking about Colorado. And this nigga can't even pronounce Colorado. So come on, bruh. Remember, these are the boule. This is part of the black elite. This is the black Miss leadership class who's always trying to tell us what to do. The first thing that you can do is learn how to pronounce Colorado. I don't care how country you are. Country people know how to pronounce Colorado. Now, there are some things where, my family, I'm a Cali boy, but my family is from Alabama, Tuscaloosa, right? So it's going to be certain things that they say is country, right? Country, you don't typically say aren't, you say ain't, right? People will say VCR, right? We know about country slang. But when we're talking about Colorado, and this nigga can't even say Colorado, talk about cacavado and avocado, huh? And we supposed to listen to this dude? He's supposed to be part of the elite? How are you part of an elite, prestigious university and you graduated with a law degree, but you can't even say Colorado? I can understand there's some immigrant people that move to this country and it may be hard to say their name because you're not used to it. Someone like Vivek Ramaswamy. Some people was calling him Vivek. People were calling Vivek Ramaswamy, right? Like people don't know how to pronounce it until you say it. That's a little bit different because this person is from a foreign lineage, a foreign background. So the names are foreign. Colorado is not a foreign name. And we got this dude from South Carolina pretending as if he's just so country that he can't pronounce Colorado, that he's calling it cacavado or avocado. Nigga, what? Let's rewind that and see.
Oh, say it again.
Colorado. How you pronounce it?
Colorado? Come on, bruh. When has any of you guys ever heard of Colorado? Hey, where you from? I'm from Denver, Colorado. I'm from Denver, avocado. I'm from Denver, doodle doo. Nigga, what the fuck are you talking about, Buck Corey?
Yeah. I think that there are things that can be learned from the elections that we saw and the victories. The first thing that I'll point out, though, is if you look at Colorado, which is the most recent election.
Not Colorado. Say it again.
Colorado. How you pronounce it?
Colorado. There's an L. I don't know who Colorado is.
Colorado.
Country ass. That has nothing to do with being country. I know plenty of country people that know how to pronounce Colorado as 4 syllables. Colorado. You mean to tell me a lawyer who graduated from Morehouse doesn't know how to pronounce Colorado? And if that's the case, nigga, why should we be listening to your goofy ass? You don't even know how to pronounce Colorado, but we're supposed to follow you? Vote blue no matter who. Okay, I will. Once you learn how to pronounce Colorado, nigga, get your ass out of here.
So this is why first I don't necessarily buy stock in this kind of DSA movement that we're just getting more progressive. I think that the number one thing we're seeing is kind of anti-incumbency. It's a fight back against Democrats not fighting. Because Diana DeGette, who got beat last night, she was a member of the Progressive Party. She voted against the Iraq War. She's strongly pro-choice. She's pro-gun control. She supports Medicare for all. She was a 2021 impeachment manager. She voted against November 2023.
Shout out Vibrant. Vibrant ain't just in the sectors. Vibrant is all seeing and all knowing. Yes, his name is Bakari. I call him Bakuni or Buck Kari. sellout. Yes, he is a stooge for the Democrats. He is a Zionist, a buck-broken Zionist. He's the type where, you don't have to use any force. He's the type that goes and pulls his pants down and voluntarily spreads cheeks. And then when the Zios try to use lube, he says, please, don't use any lube. Buck break me as hard, as raw as you can. That's how this dude is. Buck Kari sellout. Yes. Stan Jones is the same way. A moist, goofy nigga always crying. Every time you see this nigga, he's always crying. If he ain't crying, Van Jones only got 3 jobs. It's either to cry, to bootlick, or butt kiss, and he usually does them simultaneously. Van Jones, that's a crazy skill of his, how he can bootlick and butt kiss at the same time. But yes, both of these cats are cut from the same cloth. Both of them are sellouts. Both of them do nothing for the community. They're only put on there because they're talking heads. They don't stand for anything. They stand for their donors. They stand for the Zionists. They stand for whoever put a battery in their back. And it's not no black people, right? So yes, Buck Kari, you would be right, Vibrant. This is the raccoon from CNN. You know what I mean? Raccooning in. So let's get back into it.
Israel aid, and she's less than 70 years old. The problem that she had is that she stayed too long, and she was there for 15 years. So I do think that there is a great deal of anti-incumbency that we're seeing across the country. That's first. Second, affordability, things like that.
Again, so the dude already shown that he's not really the sharpest tool in the shed. He's talking about that this is anti-incumbency of the DSA members, the Democrat Socialists of America, winning around the country. And he's pretending, oh, this is just anti-incumbency. He's saying that the politicians been there too long. No, they haven't. Because imagine there was a politician, but they were doing everything to meet the tangible needs of your community. Nobody would say they've been here too long. Our community asks for something and this politician just keep on giving it to us. They've been here too long. No one would say that. Now, if there's someone who's been there for quite a long time, over a decade, and they've done nothing to enfranchise the community, yeah, that will be some anti-incumbency, not because they're an incumbent, because they're a failure and they're feckless. Buskari sellout is not going to tell you that. Mind you, this is supposed to be part of the intellectual elite boule class. I don't have any degree. I didn't graduate from Morehouse. I'm self-taught, self-educated by researching, analyzing, observing. I don't know everything. That's why I'm always trying to learn more and more every day. I do know that in a debate about standing on lineage business, standing on community business, Bakari sellout is not formidable enough to challenge me. You know why? Because I'm for the grassroots. I'm for the people of all racial backgrounds. I'm a humanitarian, so I love everyone. But I have to put my community first, especially if people are making allegations and accusations that my community is at the bottom and we're the poorest and we're the worst and everything negative, right? So if that's the case, I need to put us first so we stop being the worst and everything, right? But Bakari doesn't believe that. He's just a black face in a high place. His whole job is to say, look at me. I went to a prestigious university. I'm blackity black, black, black. I got a black wife and black kids. So vote blue no matter who. What the hell does vote blue have to do with blackness? Right? It doesn't. Voting blue right now has to do with open borders, catering towards non-black groups, and LGBT issues. That's literally what the Democrat Party is about. The only reason why they're saying black people are the backbone of the Democrat Party, the only reason why they're saying that is to get you to blindly and mindlessly vote for nothing, right? Because what are you getting for voting, right? They're telling you to vote so they can help the Latinos. Vote so we can help the Asians. Vote so we can help the trans. Vote so we can help non-citizens. And what do you get out of it? All you get is a sticker that said, I voted blue no matter who. And then all of these other groups just look at you like you a plumb damn fool. They don't say, thank you for helping us. They say, you a fool for helping us. We wouldn't have helped y'all. Which is why they said, I will vote for Donald Trump. You think they voted for Donald Trump to help you? No, they voted for Donald Trump because they thought it was helping them. Donald Trump said he was going to do a mass deportation. Who do you think that they thought was on the chopping block? They try to pretend we're all immigrants, so they really thought that foundational Black American freedmen were immigrants. They indoctrinated you and have you believe, because they've called you African American, that you're African and that they can deport you to some random place in Africa. I'm not African. There's many of people that have European ancestry, but you don't call them European. There's Europeans that have African ancestry, but you don't call them African, right? So no, I'm not African. Even if you have African genetics or you have a similar African phenotype, that doesn't mean that I'm African. There are plenty of Africans, right? Akon is African. French Montana is African. Elon Musk is African. I'm a foundational Black American freedman. And to be clear, there's nothing wrong with being African, Chinese, Japanese, Cambodian, Belizean. There's nothing wrong with it. The issue is pretending that you're something that you're not. What is there to respect? If you're going to lie about your lineage, lie about your heritage, what else won't you lie about? You can't tell me that you'll lie about your lineage, but you'll be completely truthful about everything else. That's the very basics. It's something that you should be proud of. But if you're not even proud of your own heritage, I mean, you can't try to convince me that you're proud of some generic Blackness. And like Big Rig says, me no African. Think about this. You're in America and you're supposed to call yourself African. But then as soon as you go to Africa, the motherland, they say, hey, you're American. Huh? I go to Africa and Africans know that I'm American. But in America, I'm supposed to call myself African, a place that I've never been and probably will never go. Not because I hate Africa. It's just most of us have never been and probably will never go. We love our country. We love traveling our country. And then if there is a place to go, it probably wouldn't be Africa, not just for hatred, right? We're not these lost people that are just seeking an identity. Our identity is here. We created it here. They do all this like double speak. Hey, y'all don't know who y'all are because everything African was stripped from you. You're right. Anything African was stripped from me. So we created something new from scratch, something completely detached from Africa. And now they want to say, no, that's African, right? Big Rig rides lowriders. That's African. We create breakdancing. That's African. We create hip hop. That's African. We create our own food. That's African. Like they don't even have these spices and herbs and stuff in Africa. Yeah, but it's still African. Huh? Anything that you claim has to go to the glory of Africa? Okay, I'm good. Yeah, Bakari sounds African. Yeah, but now there are some people that was trying to tap into the motherland. So, they would try to have some names that sounded more Africanized. And then there's people that have foundational Black American names. Think about it, right? There's a difference between African names and FBA names. And I'm not saying one or the other is better. I'm just saying there's different, right? Dikembe Mutombo. That sounds like an African name. Giannis Antetokounmpo. That sounds African, right? Hakeem Olajuwon. Those sound African. But then when you got someone named Daquan Johnson, that's a foundational Black American name. DeQuavius Smith. That's a Now you can laugh at those names. You named your child DeQuavius. Well, that's a foundational Black American name. Quavisha. You know what I mean? Quavon. These DeQuante, Laquana, Lakeisha, Shanika. These are not African names. Lamonte. These are not African names. Otherwise, show me the Africans with their names. When you find Africans, those aren't their names. You know why? Because there's a difference, right? Show me an African name, Tyrone. Don't worry. I'll wait. Let's get back into it.
the Mondani message on affordability, what we saw in New York, talking about making consumer goods, particularly when you have a trillionaire in the country, but you have people who can't afford.
No, and just to be clear, Big Rig, all of this is respectfully. I'm not into bashing. I know sometimes people try to get into, it's part of our culture to roast, but this is not to be disrespectful, because I'm not part of a hateful group. I love people, right? Like I will be in community with people of every walk of life, right? I don't mind building with Africans and Caribbeans and people from any racial thing. But as we're building, we don't have to erase each other. Think of it like this, Big Rig. Big Rig is from San Ho. I'm from Pittsburgh, California, itty bitty city, right? When people say Pittsburgh, sometimes they think of Pennsylvania. No, it's from Pittsburgh, the Berg, the P world, the P. That's where I'm from. But the earth is my turf. I've lived in Oakland. I lived in Oak Park. I lived in Fresno, the dog pound, right? I lived in a multitude of places, but where I'm from is Pittsburgh. Now, when they tell me, hey, what city do you claim? Where are you from? I'm not going to say that I'm from Oakland, Fresno. I'm not just going to generically say that I'm from California. I'm going to say that I'm from Pittsburgh, California, right? So the way delineation works is just about ethnic and cultural specificity. So when we're talking about California, I can't look to Big Rig and say strip your background of being from San Jose. Man, you from California, nigga. Like, man, fuck that San Jose shit, nigga. You from California. It's like, California is a big place. Like why should he erase his hometown heritage just for being a generic California? Man, you trying to be divisive, right? Man, we all come from the same place. No, we don't. Yeah, we all come from California, but San Jose is not the same as Oakland. Oakland is not the same as San Francisco. And then they'll look, there's crime in San Francisco, there's crime in Oakland. It's the same. No, it's not. Santa Rosa is not the same as San Jose. San Ramon is not the same as San Jose. Sacramento is not the same as Pittsburgh. It's all California, right? And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about ethnicity, right? You can look at Jamaicans. You can look at someone from Nigeria. You can look at someone from Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali and say, hey, they're all melanated. They're all quote unquote so-called black. So they're the same. No, they're not. Same means identical. They're not the same. Definitions matter. You can say they're similar, but there's a lot of things that are similar. Salt looks similar to sugar. Salt is not sugar. A grapefruit looks similar to an orange. A grapefruit is not an orange. A crocodile looks similar to an alligator. They're not the same. People understand this when it comes to every other group, but when it comes to us, we got to try to pretend we all black, we all the same. No, we're not. If you think we're all the same, go to a Mexican and tell him he's the same as an El Salvadorian, and then go to an El Salvadorian and tell him he's the same as someone from Venezuela, and then go to someone from Venezuela and tell him he's the same as a Brazilian, and all of them gonna look at you like you got boo-boo on your face. I'm just saying. And shout out to John. I don't know what you was replying to, John, but I appreciate you for sliding through. I just clarify in case there's some dips in the chat. Yeah, I clarify because you know how sometimes people, they get triggered by what I'm saying. They can't refute what I'm saying, so they just get triggered. But Big Rig, that merch is coming soon. Where's the lie? Cats get triggered, and then I say, okay, fine. Just point to me, timestamp where I lied. And since they can't point to anything where I lied, they start just ad hominem. You divisive. You this. You sound like mega. Like all sorts of stuff. It's like, huh? Nigga, are you going to address anything that I said? Don't attack the individual. Attack the idea, right? And you said Bakari's full name is Bakari T. Sellers, as T'Chaka Black Panther daddy. Or you said, hey, we don't know where Bakari. Yeah, Bakari, I think he might be Friedman, but either way, like, that's why we draw the distinction. A raccoon is just a homegrown Sambo, and a tether is just a Sambo of a foreign lineage. No, he's not pro-black. He's pro-Israel. Like I said, Buck Kari is a brain dead, buck broken bozo. Excuse me, a bozo that's just beholden to Israel. But yeah, shout out to Vibrant. She holding it down, and my holding it down. I appreciate. And I was just about to go on, but we've been joined by the sensational, sincere Saida in building. Salute to Sincere. I appreciate you. She popped up like Peekaboo. I didn't know you was gonna come through, Sincere. Appreciate you though. Let's get back into it though. But y'all see the discussion. And John, I know John like these tongue twisters. John, could you say my title 3 times fast? And I added another twist into it. So what we discussing is being bamboozled by the buck broken, butt kissing, boot licking bozos and bimbos. S3 in here, S triple. I meant he's not pro-black by him having T'Chaka. Well, no, he's not pro-black. I'm B1, black first, and these people on this panel are D1, and I don't mean Division 1 as in sports. D1 as in Democrat first. Let's get back into it. And John said, I'm wild. Hey, bro, I told them this one would be a banger. Let's get back into it.
To buy their prescription drugs, to pay their utility bills. Those are messages that need to be heard. But I'm also not a Democrat who believes in making sure we have open borders. I'm not a Democrat who believes in defunding police. I can disagree with you. If we're going to be under the same tent, I don't need to be a coon because I disagree with abolishing the Senate.
Yeah, you're right. You don't need to be a coon, but you are a coon. So I don't really know why you said that. I don't need to be a coon. No, you don't, nigga, but you are a coon. That's the difference. And like Sincere says, it's a damn shame. D1. Yes, D1. Democrat first. These are the type that are not just butt kissers. They're crack lickers. They put their hands firmly on the cheeks, spread them apart, lick up and down and all around. So the butt kissing, it doesn't end there for them. They got to lick the crack as well. And these are the type of people that are supposed to be leading us to the promised land. No, they're leading you to be lambs to the slaughter. There's nothing to praise about that. But you're supposed to look, he went to a HBCU. He has a black wife and black kids, and he's selling out the black community. So I don't give a fuck about this goofy ass nigga Buck Kari sellout and the stooges on this podcast. Let's get back into it.
Like, if that's one of your major platforms, I disagree with that.
Who said abolish the Senate?
Oh, that's one of the tenets of DSA.
Where?
I can send it to you.
I would like to see it. Malat Cairo.
So again, she asked them, where could he find it? I can send it to you. She didn't ask you that. Where is it at? Right? If somebody is saying, hey, you know, there's this news report about X, Y, and Z. Where's it at? I can send it to you. I didn't ask you to send it to me. I said, where's it at? Now I will accept you sending it to me, but like, where's it at? You could easily say, oh, it was on CNN or it's on Fox News, etc., etc. He never says where it's at. I can send it to you. Nigga, send it now then.
Is an Ethiopian immigrant.
So here it is. Abolish the Senate. The DSA's new platform, Workers Deserve More. Abolish the Senate, abolish the carceral state, abolish ICE and grant amnesty for all, replace the president and Supreme Court, free Palestine, public ownership of major corporations, remake elections nationwide, end sanctions on Cuba, Venezuela, and Iran, and defund the Department of War. So, I mean, while we have a smorgasbord of ideals, I mean,
where is that?
I mean, here, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I think.
Did y'all see that? That was the second time. She said, where is that? Because he just read off a bunch of stuff. Like, so mind you, right? So if I'm reading off a site, I can say, look, I'm reading off of Google.com. I'm reading off of FoxNews.com. So he reads off a list of things that he says the DSA stands for. And then she says, okay, like, where are you reading this for? And he's like, like starts huffing and puffing like the wolf trying to blow down the piggy's house. Nigga, what are you huffing and puffing for? She said, where is it at? And you still didn't tell her where's it at. I can send it to you, nigga. The whole time you were reading it, you could have been sending it to her. How long does it take to copy a link and then send it to someone? He read off a litany of things that they stand for. That whole time, he could have been sending it. Yet he's saying, I can send it to you. It's like, come on, bruh. And this is supposed to be the elite. This is supposed to be the boule that we're supposed to be following. No, I'm good off these brain dead, buck broken bozos.
You know what the other thing that I'm worried about? I think that the Democratic Socialists of America are also getting credit for some justice dip. Where is that?
I mean, here, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I think that you know what the other thing that I'm worried about? I think that the Democratic Socialists of America are also getting credit for some justice dim wins, are also getting credit for some working families parties wins, right? I'm not saying that they haven't been kind of aligned there, but I think that what they do offer, even if they do caucus with the Democrats because they agree more often than they don't, is what an actual democracy would look like, which is dimension. And we talk about it on the show often. So the thing that I'm concerned about is like what is seeming to be louder and louder hypocrisy around, with Democratic Party, as long as we win in the midterms, but that doesn't really sound like where they're landing.
But they're also not winning. So DSA, they're winning in Democratic seats.
Mm-hmm.
They are not.
So Roger says, I agree with most of all that, but my beef is, why is DSA thinking of all these other groups yet no mention of reparation? It was a lot of stuff that they said that I didn't agree with that. Like they were talking about open the border. So they're not only saying abolish ICE, they're saying like open the border. They're saying keep the borders open. Don't agree with that. Then they're saying mass amnesty. So all of the people who came here, whether you came here illegally or not, mass amnesty. Are you saying you agree with that, Roger? You're going to have to stand on what you're talking about. So 1, do you agree with open borders? 2, do you agree with mass amnesty? But then again, of course, the DSA, they don't support, and I disagree with you, Roger. They do support reparations and they do mention reparations. You heard Premier Jayapal, she mentioned reparations, but it was for illegal / undocumented immigrants, aliens, however you want to legally categorize them. So they support reparations, just not for us. Kathy Hochul, a Democrat in your neck of the woods, she supported reparations, but for Jewish people. And this was just last year. Donald Trump, he gave reparations to Jewish people. So all of these people support reparations. They just don't support it for foundational Black American freedom. And when they do mention reparations for DSA, is reparations for Palestinian people. And then they want to try to pretend, there's solidarity with the Palestinians and Black people. Like, no, it's not. And then ask the people, where's Nick? Where's your boy Nick Cruz, right? I asked Nick, bro. Nick, what solidarity was for the Palestinians? You know what this nigga told me? He said when he was in some protest and got pepper sprayed, it was some Palestinians who told him how to get the pepper spray out of his eye. Huh? You've got to be kidding me, nigga. You could have Googled that. I could have told you that. So if I get pepper sprayed and some white nationalist tells me how to get the pepper spray out of my eyes, hey, the Ku Klux Klan, they show some solidarity. Like, come on, bruh. Nigga, what are you talking about, bruh? And that's the problem with all these goofy ass Marxists, communists, socialists, and all this stuff. They put all of these ideologies ahead of their actual racial and ethnic identity, right? Because they try to, we're so big, we've transcended race. But you're in a coalition with a bunch of lefty socialists who go live in a NIMBY neighborhood, not in my backyard. You pretend as if you guys are fighting and have some solidarity, but y'all only link up on the weekends to go to a No Kings protest. You go to a No Kings protest and then you go back to a segregated enclave. How is that a coalition again? And Roger said you left out the word almost. Well, Roger, you got to speak plainly. Don't try to sneak the almost in there, because I'm like, but you still didn't say what you agree with. Do you agree with open borders? Do you agree with mass amnesty? Should all FBA bring a lawsuit for 40 acres and a mill? I believe, yeah, I think. Well, technically, no, because it doesn't require all of us. It just requires enough of us. And the people that don't support reparations, y'all just need to shut up. Like, this is the whole thing, right? It's a bunch of people who say we ain't never gonna get it. Okay, fine. If you think that we ain't gonna never get it, then just shut up. Guess what they were saying? We ain't never gonna get voting rights. And then we got it. We ain't gonna never get free from enslavement. And then we were freed. They ain't gonna never stop lynching us. All of these nevers. And then suddenly it changed, right? So the whole we ain't gonna never get reparations. Reparations isn't anything radical. They're paying reparations to multiple groups. They're just trying to avoid the group that's actually owed. So to say we'll never get it, yeah, maybe we'll never get it in your lifetime. Maybe we will. The thing is, whether we get it or not, the fight must continue, right? There's a bunch of bigoted people that ain't gonna never respect you, right? Does that mean that you stop demanding respect? Man, they ain't gonna never respect me, so I'm gonna just let them disrespect me. No, you would say, shit, hey, I don't care if they never gonna respect me. I'm still gonna continuously demand respect, right? Hey, yeah, I don't care if they never gonna pay me. I'm gonna continuously demand for the debt owed, right? If somebody owed somebody $500, right? People don't let that go, right? People don't say, yeah, 10, 15 years pass, man, I'm gonna just let that go, right? Now, you may not make a big stink about it, but you don't let it go. We're talking about trillions here. People wouldn't let $500 go. Some people won't let $50 go. But we're just supposed to let trillions of dollars go because them crackers ain't gonna never give it anything. It's like, nigga, why are you even talking like that, bro? That's the reason why we're not gonna get it, because of niggas like you. Not everyone needs to have a voice. If you don't support it, then just shut up. If I don't like the NBA and I don't support the NBA, I'm not gonna do a podcast about the NBA. I'm not going to talk about the NBA and its failings. I don't support it. There's nothing to talk about. You don't support reparations? Fine. That's within your civil liberties not to support it. Just shut up for the people that do support it. Because I hear a lot of people that say they don't support, but then if it's a check, then they'll be in line for it, right? The majority of people didn't support civil rights, but guess what? As soon as civil rights was passed, they were in line for it. It was a bunch of people saying civil rights, hell no, we can't do that. They passed affirmative action. Guess who was first in line for it? So all of these people pretend as if, no, they're so against it. Fine, let them be against it. We need to focus on galvanizing who's for it. Because it don't take the whole community. The whole community didn't support civil rights. The whole community didn't support MLK. In fact, the majority of the country, MLK had damn near 80% negative disapproval rating. Now, obviously, this was a bunch of brain dead bozos, Sambos, and mainly, white people who hated him. But, if you believe the polling is what it is. So now what do? They praise MLK. Every time they want to quote someone, they quote MLK. Think about how sinister and diabolical it is. They're quoting the man that they hated when he was alive. And now in his death, they're using his death to weaponize, to profiteer off of. And people don't see the play. They're just happy that someone who looks like them or with their same skin pigment is being praised. But are they really being praised, or are you just being propagandized? Apparently someone did that at one. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. Well, apparently a young lady was found hanging. Oh, most recently, yes. And then they're trying to say that it was a suicide, but no, it wasn't. If black people are going off themselves, that's not the route to go. I'm driving, but I'm a conservative on immigration. Well, I don't really know what that means anymore. It's because conservatives are open borders. You know what I mean? You see a lot of these conservatives, they have immigrant wives and immigrant girlfriends, which, hey, it's nothing wrong with that, right? JD Vance is a conservative on the border. And what does he have? A immigrant wife. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of dudes that say deport all the Latinos except for the big booty Latinas, right? So it's a bunch of people that pretend to be conservative. They'll be like, no, we're against open borders, but let all in the Asian women because they're more subservient and stuff like that. So it's like, are you against open borders or not? So many of these people who claim to be conservative, which it doesn't really mean anything. Saying you're conservative, it really has no meaning, because what exactly are you trying to conserve? Are you trying to conserve the border as it is now? Because that means you would be for open borders. So again, what are you trying to conserve? Are you trying to conserve black neighborhoods being displaced by undocumented immigrants? What are you trying to conserve? Zios have been getting reparations past 1943 and beyond. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. People are not against reparations. They're just against foundational black American freedmen getting reparations. So, yeah. I meant someone sued for the 40 acres and won. Oh, okay. You said, good gracious, you're going to get me into an accident. Oh, hey, Roger, I ain't trying to get you into an accident. I'm just saying, bro, and drive safely out there, Roger. You feel me? It's just, you know, Roger, this is for you, bro. Drive safe out there. That's how I'm gonna be screaming if you crash, bro. So be safe out there, bro. So let's get back into the video.
They're winning in blue seats. We're not talking about every.
And just to be clear, I'm only going to play like 5 more minutes of this. This video is like 30 minutes long. I can't really stomach listening to Bakuni sell out for too long. And also I'm going to transition into another video from Professor Black Truth, and I want to have enough time so I can shut it down because the bro Big Rig is going to go live. But I want to deconstruct much of this brain dead bozo babble. Is rather disgusting, because many people are willing to vote blue no matter who. Why? Because someone black or someone who claims to be black with a little bit of melanin told you to. Now, you ain't gonna get nothing for it. The only thing they tell you is the Republicans are bad. Okay, fine, the Republicans are bad, but what am I gonna get for my vote? Nothing. It's just the Republicans are bad. It's like, damn, bruh. Like, you're supposed to just blindly vote for nothing. And that's supposed to be the tangible. The Republicans are bad, so it's good if you don't vote for them. Okay.
Seat that we're talking about in New York or Colorado or Washington, D.C., however you pronounce it.
Oh, yeah, Washington, D.C. is the other one. Thank you.
Washington.
Again, now this nigga still don't know how to pronounce Colorado. Cockavado, avocado, cockadoodle-doo. Nigga, you don't know how to pronounce Colorado, bro? You went to Morehouse. You're a lawyer, bro. And these are the people that we're supposed to look to as the elite? Come on, bro. We trying to get reparations passed, but we're supposed to follow a nigga that can't say Colorado? I don't have a degree. I didn't graduate from fucking Morehouse College. I'm not a lawyer, and I can say Colorado. And then they're trying to say, oh, he's just country. No, it's a bunch of people from the country that know how to say Colorado. So I'm sick of this nigga over here playing cockavado, cockadoodle-doo, however you say it. No, nigga, it's Colorado, bruh. Damn, man.
But they're also not winning. So DSA, they're winning in Democratic seats.
Mm-hmm.
They're winning in blue seats. We're not talking about every seat that we're talking about in New York or Colorado or Washington, D.C., however you pronounce it.
Oh, yeah, Washington, D.C. is the other one. Thank you.
Or Washington.
Colorado. Does anybody think that Denver, Colorado is how you say it? I'm just saying.
In DC, you're talking about Democratic areas. You're not talking about Lucy McBath's seat. You're not talking about competitive South Carolina District 1. You're not talking about these seats.
So why are we fighting then? If they are winning in Democratic areas, a Democratic area.
Bro, why is this nigga so oiled up like this? This is what you call a lather. This nigga, bro got the midnight milk dud special, bro. This is the McShiny. Shining know what? Yeah. Bro ain't shiny, bro. It's glistening. That's why I'm like, bro, why is bro kind of so glistening, bro? Like, this is lightweight Maney, bro. And this is already Andrew Gillum. He got he was running for governor. He damn near beat DeSantis in governor. And then like Red 6, I didn't even know you was in here. Red 6 in the mix like Twix. So Red 6 knows about Andrew Bussy Drillum Gillum. So bro got found in a hotel room with some white zaddy boy toy scattered around with hella pills. So basically they set him up. Dude took hella pills. He was popping pills and he was popping something else. Now I don't know if he was top or bottom. I don't know if he was getting popped from behind or if he was doing the pop and pulls. You feel me? I don't know, but some popping was going on. Pills were being popped and some other things were being popped. You feel me? Orifice and holes were being penetrated and popped, right? And this is the dude we supposed to listen to. And mind you, if dude wants to get ramrodded from behind, I don't care. But what I'm saying is this little slick, slimy, shiny shyster is trying to lead the community and pretend as if we should listen to him. And I will concede if he makes some good points, but I'm just saying, you know, the glare and the glistening kind of threw me off. But yeah, let's get back into it, bro. The shiny one, the shining.
About these seats.
So why are we fighting then? If they are winning in Democratic areas, a Democratic area should, in my opinion, reflect the boldest, most courageous, most democratic ideals that you can imagine.
Because
the fight is both places. Because voters do not disaggregate. When they go vote, they don't say, I'm going to pick a loser now, so that when they go against a Republican, we can have somebody up on the stage talking about the stuff that we want to hear talked about, but we know they're going to lose. They pick a person who they believe, if made it to.
So this should be a lesson to all the content creators, bro. If you guys shimmery and shiny, just keep a little Kleenex, keep a little wet wipe or something like that. So just in case you're a little glistening, just wipe me down. Cute a little Boosie and Webby and wipe me down, because it's like even if bro is cooking, the shine is kind of throwing it off. You feel me? But like, go ahead, let's let them shine. Let them cook.
The next round that they would win, that they would excite the half of the people in this country who do not vote
because unfortunately, they do not feel Andrew, represented. And you know this. Unfortunately, Andrew, and you know this, that nothing happens in a vacuum. And so now, John
What's
Ossoff,
the threat? What's the threat?
The threat is not anything. The threat is that we have to have this conversation.
But why is the heat so loud? Why is the heat so loud?
It is so loud.
Because this is what
this is hard to stomach. Like I said, I only got a few more minutes of this. So she said, what's the threat? The threat isn't anything. And then he said, well, the threat is this. You just said there was no threat. And then you proceeded to go on and name what you believe the threat is. So is there a threat or not? Mind you, all of these people are supposed to represent the boule, the elite intellectual class of the black community. The black community should be following them. Does anything that you heard here encourage you to get your booties to the poll? Like, no, you hear these people and you like, okay, you don't say I'm on mute, you say I'm putting them on mute because I don't want to hear what they got to say. You know why? Because it's brain dead, buck broken, bozo and bimbo babble. They're bamboozling voters, and for what? So you can get an I voted sticker? All these other groups are getting specific tangibles, specific legislation for their group. They're not getting anything passed to help people of color. They're getting things passed for Latinos. They're getting things passed for Asians. They're getting things passed for trans people, for undocumented immigrants. But we're supposed to just crash out for everybody else? Nah, I'm good.
credit you for. When we talked about after New York's race, you spent your time on that race talking about the fact that these people do not represent the majority of the Democratic Party. And my response to that was simply, no, they don't. But guess what? We don't know what represents the majority of them because we are practically a coalition government. We don't have that technically here. They have that in Great Britain, but the Democratic Party represents almost a coalition government.
It is a coalition government.
Right.
I mean, it's
so you have all of these different interests who are coming together and saying, while collectively we don't have the same thing at heart, but you're closer to me than the other guys. And so we're going to come together and hopefully we'll be able to advance some public policy that moves us closer to the more perfect.
My only point is people like Roy Cooper, for example, people like John Ossoff, for example, people like Keisha Lance Bottoms, for example, or Jermaine Johnson, for example, people who are running for office in different parts of the world with different demographics that are set forth. I'm simply saying that they are going to have fundamental tension in the way that they view party politics, in the way that they view initiatives. And we're not going to even get into the fact that a lot of DSA, they have abandoned or never adopted or haven't given two good goddams about the intercourse of racial politics in this country and socioeconomics in this country. So the
Some
first
could
thing
argue that the Democratic Party hasn't, to the extent that it only.
So this is the only thing that I agree with, right? He's talking about how the DSA, they abandon any type of race discourse, right? He's talking about how they say, hey, make everything about class, right? And they think that talking about race is divisive, right? So you going around talking about you want to abolish ICE, open the borders and give mass amnesty to people. That's not a unifying message, right? To a contingent of people it is, but not to the entire country, right? And I do concur, right? The DSA, yeah, they're horrible on race issues. The Green Party, libertarians, because they're all the same. This country was founded on genocidal proclivities and anti-Black bigotry. Nothing has changed. The sentiment is there. Just because there's some individuals, just because there's more interracial dating and mating, people have been engineered and brainwashed to believe that we live in a post-racial utopia. None of these groups care about tangible benefits and enfranchisement based on race. However, they do care about blaming race, right? Like when people say, what about black on black crime, right? It's the DSA, Cenk Uygurs, the Anna Kasparians. These are the people, the Dave Smiths, they lean into it and talk about, yeah, we do have to talk about black on black crime. That's the thing where you should say, no, don't make it about race, right? The number one predictor of crime is poverty, not your racial makeup. But no, they lean into it. But has any of you guys heard the what about Latino on Latino crime? Most Latinos kill other Latinos. Latino gangs are larger, more organized, and more violent than any Black gang that you can think of. But no one says that gang culture is Latino culture when quite literally is. Doesn't mean that every Latino person is a gang member, but you can't tell me that a handful of niggas in Chicago and Oakland did a drive-by. They're in a gang, so gang culture is Black culture. Okay, fine. I can't hold y'all. In case you don't know, I got an acronym, CESL, SESL, same energy, same logic. Keep the same energy, apply the same logic. Well, keeping that energy and applying the same logic, if a handful of Blacks represent the entire Black culture because they're engaged in some gang activity, then that means that MS-13, they're larger than the Crips and the Bloods. La M.A., larger than the Crips and the Bloods. Trinidad Agua, larger than the Crips and the Bloods, right? You can't tell me that these groups don't represent Latino culture, right? But that's what these people want to convince you that, no, you can't say that. You can't generalize. Oh, I can't do what you did to the Black community? Yeah. And you said, I'm finna Rose. Hey, don't worry. He ain't going to be on the screen too much longer. But yeah, and this is just where it gets DSA as pro-Democratic Party. Just watch out to tell you, all of these groups are the same. So all they pretend to fight rhetorically, so people get all excited. Oh my God, they didn't take AIPAC money. Okay, they didn't take AIPAC money, but they took money from Big Pharma. They didn't take AIPAC money, but they took money from some other anonymous big wig oligarch, right? So sometimes people do have a bit of Israel derangement syndrome, which I don't mind calling out Israel. Keep calling them out till you blue in the face. But when you're just, oh, AIPAC did this and AIPAC is bad, it's like, is AIPAC really that bad? Or is AIPAC just like all these other groups? Chamber of Commerce donates more than AIPAC. Chamber of Commerce is the ones really pushing for open borders, more so than AIPAC. They love to say, it's the Jews. Is the Chamber of Commerce only run by Jewish people? And again, there's no race called Jewish. So what racial demographic do these people represent? And then they start trying to fumble and stutter and stammer. So don't worry. I'll repeat this for you. 92% of American Jews identify as racially white. There's nothing wrong with that. These are just the facts. So when you try to pretend as if the Jews are separate than the whites, no, they're not, because there's no race called Jewish. There's Black Jews, Asian Jews, Hispanic Jews. But in America, the predominant racial makeup of Jews are white. Most of them descend from European ancestry, but we're supposed to pretend no, they're different. They're Jewish, and they do the same thing with Muslim. This person is Muslim. There's no race called Muslim. He's an Arab. There's no race called Arab. And guess what? There's no race called Middle Eastern. So people try to have it both ways. They try to use race when it's convenient, and then when it's not convenient, they say race is a social construct. Okay, the term Middle Eastern is a social construct. The term sub-Saharan is a social construct. We can keep going on and on and on. If you can see that race is not a biological reality, it's a social construct, that means every other aspect and category that falls under race is a social construct. So that will mean tribal membership. So that means Choctaw, Cherokee, Seminole, all of them are social constructs, right? So either way, my argument is irrefutable. Jews and Muslims are religious practitioners. Yeah, because Muslim and Judaism is about a religious-based ideology, not about your biological makeup. But that's what you've been convinced. It's the Jews. Yeah, what Jews? Oh, the white ones. No. You can't call them white. They're Jewish. Okay, so where's the box for the U.S. Census to check Jewish, right? Jewish people, there's a box that says other. They could check the box that says other and they could write in Jewish. That's not what they do. They check the box white because that's what they are, racially white. So they check the white box, but I'm not supposed to call them white. It's the same way that these other groups do. Palestinians are classified as white. Egyptians classified as white, Syrians classified as white, Lebanese people classified as white. No, but they're not white. You can't call them that. Yeah, I'm gonna call them how they identify. There was no gun forced to their head calling them white. Sometimes they try to say, hey, well, we're more Asiatic. Why didn't you check the box that says Asian? Hey, we're not white, we're different. Why didn't you check the box other and write how different you were? You chose to check the box white. So when I choose to call you white, why are you getting offended? This is what you're legally, racially classified as. You see it all the time. Jillian Michaels, you know that Biggest Loser chick? She's telling people, you know that I'm Syrian, right? You know that I'm Arab, right? Yeah, we know that you're a white Syrian Arab woman. Where's the confusion here? There's no race called Arab and there's no race called Syrian. So what race is Jillian Michaels? This isn't rocket science here. White Gentiles try hard to delineate themselves from Jews. Yeah, they try hard, but it's imperative that you don't let them delineate because they can't delineate them. They can delineate themselves from Jews, but they can delineate themselves from facts. And factually, they descend from European ancestors. You can't delineate from that. Not race. People are dumb, racist, and bigoted. I concur. Let me play a little bit more of this video and I will pivot.
Looks at what percentage of votes they can get.
But I would call BS because the Democratic Party is the conglomerate of the CBC and the overwhelming majority of those CBC members sit in the South. And the only reason I'm pushing back is because
the CBC has a legislative agenda that's different.
Again, so here Buck Corey is trying to say, no, the Democrats stand up for black people because they have the Congressional Black Caucus. Did you know that the majority of the Congressional Black Caucus is filled with immigrants? And look, this isn't no hatred towards immigrants, but these people have been selected there. They curated a bunch of tethers, a bunch of people that are not, people don't find it, obvious, right? They uplift Kamala Harris, who is a Jamaican. She's an Indo-Jamaican person. No, she's blackity black. No, she's an Indo-Irish Jamaican. They uplift Barack Tether Obama. He black. No, he's a biracial Kenyan American. Are you starting to see a pattern here? They're always uplifting people who don't have a foundational Black American lineage. It's always someone from a distant land so they can say, this is a nation of immigrants. We're all immigrants. No, we're not. Those people are immigrants. We're not. We all didn't come on a ship from Africa. We just did it. But even if I concede that point and say that, yeah, we did all come. Human trafficking is not immigration. Kidnapping is not immigration. Forcible involuntary transport is not immigration. There's no definition that you could find that would make us immigrants. And this is what gets people panties in a tizzy. There's nothing wrong with being an immigrant. There's nothing wrong with having a different flag, a different heritage. What's wrong is you want to try to conflate and collapse us all into one big generic immigrant, and that's just not the case. Some of us are not immigrants, and that's okay. But people are kind of really upset that we can't be deported. Why the hell would you want us to be deported? We fought in every war. We bled, died here. We fought for the freedoms that you enjoy, but you want us to be deported because you're an immigrant and we're not? How spiteful and disgusting is that? The CBC is the Congressional Black Talkers, the Congressional Black Tethers. It's filled with a bunch of tethers, and they're not tethers just because they're immigrants. They're tethers because they're of a different lineage. Because the homegrown people in the CBC, they're raccoons and sambos. So the pejorative is not just only for non-freedmen. Those people are there. Did you know that the CBC has a reparations task force, and there's not a Black person in charge of it? There's a white Jewish person in charge of it. Does anyone think that the Latinos would have some sort of compensation justice claim and they will put a Black person in charge of it? Does anyone think that people saying stop Asian hate would put a Black person in charge of it? But we're fighting for our justice, and guess what the Congressional Black Tethers do? They put a white person in charge of our reparations claim, and then you wonder why it's dead in the water and why it hasn't went anywhere. But still, we're supposed to vote blue no matter who. Okay.
That of the Democratic Party.
The first person, but you got to run through that area if you're going to be a Democratic nominee.
Again,
but the first person I agree with you. We're actually saying the same thing on that. The first person that was brought up to me was Bernie Sanders. And the reason why
Yes, Jillian is Syrian. They took her country, but you know what? What is Jillian always doing? Bootlicking and butt kissing for Israel. The same thing with Patrick Bozo David. Bozo David, I think he's Iranian, right? And Israel's over there bombing Iran, and he's over here kissing Israel's butt and saying, man, you just don't understand, man. Iran is a repressive regime, right? So he's saying Iran is so repressive. Meanwhile, Israel slaughtered hundreds of little schoolgirls, right? And they were just like, oopsie, you know what I mean? And Patrick Bozo David had nothing to say about that. So yeah. And he thinks that he's white. He thinks that he's an honorary white person because he has a white wife. And then he was interviewing a white nationalist, and they looked at him and it's like, yeah, bro, you're not white, and they won't accept your kid as white. And also, why would he want his kid to be accepted as white anyways? See, people try to play these games. They'll have mixed and biracial kids, and then if you call them mixed or biracial, somehow that's an insult or a slur. I didn't say that you're a biracial bitch or a biracial buffoon. I just said that you're biracial, which is facts. There's nothing wrong with that. But then sometimes people will be biracial one day and then they'll claim one race the other day. So which one is it, right? You know?
Sanders wasn't successful. The three of us know that. It's because Bernie Sanders could not thread the needle of understanding the body politic of race in this country with the overlay of socioeconomic level, of socioeconomic concern. The best example I can give you is the reason.
All right, that's enough of bro. So I'm gonna go ahead and pivot to the other video so that I still have enough time to shut it down so my bro does his stream. Now, I do concur with him, right? With Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is a bigot, right? He's just a more, let's just call him a more acceptable bigot than Biden, right? Biden is very blatant with his bigotry and Bernie is overt with his bigotry. But yes, like, and to me, I would kind of consider Bernie worse than Biden in many regards because Biden wore his bigotry on his sleeve. I know some people tried to repackage him and call him Uncle Joe. No, he's not my uncle, right? Go talk to Cornbread or whoever he was talking about. Corn Pop. Corn Pop is a bad dude. Yeah. Go talk to Corn Pop, bigoted Joe Biden. But in many regards, I believe that Bernie is worse because you really think about it, right? If you have two people and one person is your staunch enemy, you don't really expect anything from them. But Bernie is going around pretending to be your friend. People are trying to claim that he marched with Dr. Martin Luther King, which, you know, I don't know if that's true. Even the photo, like, was that a real photo? But let's just hypothetically say that he did march with Dr. King. That makes it even worse. He marched with Dr. King knowing that before Dr. King was assassinated, he was talking about reparations. And then you ask Bernie about reparation. What is that? It's not feasible. It's like, nigga, you don't know what reparations is? Or my bad, wigga, you don't know what reparations is? Like, come on, bruh. So he knows what reparations is. And then he tried to pretend as if he was going to do something for the black people. And it involved weed. Like, not all black people smoke weed. It's just the same thing when they do some criminal justice reform. Not all black people are criminal. The majority of us are not criminals. And then that criminal justice reform applies to everyone. So they try to do something menial around the edges for criminal justice and say, see, this was for black people. No, it wasn't. It's not only black people locked up. It's the same thing with healthcare. I support universal healthcare, but if universal healthcare passed, it says it in the name. It's universal. It's for everybody. Stop trying to do something for everybody and say, this is for the black community. No, it's not. I give an analogy. Imagine you went to your girlfriend and you gave her a bouquet of roses and said, baby, this is for you. You give her the bouquet, but then you start taking the roses out and giving them to, oh, and this one is for Chung Lee, and this one is for Maria, and this one is for Becky, and this one is for Joanne. And then by the end of the day, the bouquet is no longer a bouquet. It's down to a single flower. And then you say, but baby, I bought you a bouquet. No, you didn't. You got a bouquet and you dangled it in front of your face and you gave her a flower. And that's what all of these groups do, especially the Democrats. They dangle something in front of the black community's face and then they say, look, the black community are the backbone. We need black votes, black voters, black this, blackity black. Okay, what are you going to do for the black people? Here's a plan for people of color, huh? You kept talking about black people and black on black crime and black people are felon and black fatherless homes and black education attainment rates. And then when it's time to dole out some resources, you start talking about people of color, marginalized groups and underserved groups. So that includes legal immigrants, illegal immigrants, trans people, et cetera, et cetera. How does that help you? It doesn't. They'll talk about what black women went through. Black women, oh my God, it's so rough what black women are going through. Okay, so how are you going to help the black women? Well, we're going to help trans women because all women matter. No matter how you were biologically born, like how did helping black women turn into helping trans women? None against helping trans women, fine. Why is that conflated? Gender affirming care, right? We were talking about the black maternal health rate. And now it's turned into gender affirming care. And unfortunately, Not me, but many of us have went with that. And you know why? All they got to do is say one sentence. The Republicans are bad. Yeah, the Republicans are bad, but the Democrats are worse because the Republicans are very blatant. It's the analogy that Malcolm X talked about, the wolf and the fox. And I'm paraphrasing, but the Republicans are the wolf. You see the wolf, you see the fangs showing, you see the eyes glowing. It's a wolf. Right? You know, I'm going to steer clear of that wolf, but the Democrats are that cute, cuddly fox. You get next to the fox. You want to pet the fox. You want to feed the fox. And then the fox bites your hands off. And then you turn around and the fox mauls you, right? That's what the Democrats do, right? They get close enough to you because you think that the Republicans are so bad, and you turn around to go get some Kool-Aid out the fridge, and it's the Democrat who's plunging the knife in your back, right? So, yeah, the Republicans are bad, but the Democrats are worse. They're worse because they pull the wool over your eyes so that they can get close enough to you to screw you over, right? All of these bleeding hearts, right? There's black neighborhoods that were predominantly black. Now they're mainly Hispanic. How does that help the black community? There's no Hispanic neighborhoods that are predominantly Hispanic and now they're predominantly black. That's not happening. There's no Asian neighborhoods that are predominantly Asian and now they're predominantly black. There are black neighborhoods that are all black and now they're predominantly Hispanic. Not just for birth rates, because the Democrats will bring in millions and millions of undocumented immigrants. They don't want them near them. But guess where they will drop them at? In a black neighborhood, and give them resources and then pretend like they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. But it's a lie. You don't have to be a college graduate to just think about it. Right now, you know the myths. They only came over here with $2 in their pocket. That's a damn lie. And even if they did, that's stupid. Let's just call it what it is. That would be an idiotic decision. Right now, I'm in California. If I said I only got $2 in my pocket, there's no state that you would recommend me go. Nobody would say, hey, bro, you only got $2 in your pocket. Won't you go try to make it in Montana? Won't you go try to make it in Utah? Won't you go try to make it in Boise, Idaho? There's no place that you would recommend that I try to make it with $2 in my pocket. But suddenly someone from Tijuana, someone from Bangladesh, someone from Nepal, someone that claims that they only had $2 in their pocket, somehow they're able to just thrive and make it in America because of the American dream and pulling themselves up by their bootstrap. That's not what happened. Let's just say they did. How the hell did you get to America? You got from Latin America to America on $2 in your pocket? Okay, fine. Now you're here with $2 in your pocket and 3 kids. Where did you sleep the first night? Because you've already exhausted your $2. Where did you sleep the first night? All right, fine. Where did you sleep the third night? Where did you sleep the third week? These are simple questions, but no one has the answer, right? We're supposed to believe that these people who were poor in their homeland came over here with $2 and then suddenly was able to start a business and suddenly was able to put their kids through college, right? Just off of hard work. And then when you ask, okay, why didn't they work hard in their homeland? That's xenophobic. And the question never gets answered because you just get accused of being a xenophobe. But I'm serious, right? If they have such ingenuity, such innovation, where was this innovation in their homeland? They were failing in their homeland, so they claim to the land of opportunity, opportunities that they didn't create, opportunities they're coming to take advantage of. That's fine that you want to take advantage of the opportunities, right? You know, it's a capitalist nation, so people come to capitalize. But just stop with the lies. You came to capitalize, but stop with the lies. You didn't come with $2 in your pocket. And if you did, you came and were privileged by the NGOs, which were paid with taxpayer dollars. And of course, you know, oligarch and plutocrat money to create a buffer group to displace the native population. We have to tell the whole story, right? Do I have to pull up the Latino icon, Cesar Chavez, who they drug through the mud, how he was against illegal immigration? When you look at the I will vote for Donald Trump, right? Latinos are against open borders. Latinos are against mass immigration. But they telling that black people they're xenophobic. If we say, hey, so Latinos against mass immigration, well, you got to understand, you know what I mean? You know, they're not a monolith, right? But then when black people say, hey, we're against open borders, we don't want all these people dumped in our neighborhood, y'all sound like MAGA. Huh? You mean the same MAGA that's filled with Latinos that voted for the open borders? I mean, that voted to close the borders? Much of the Border Patrol, Latino. Many of the ICE enforcement, Latino. Y'all heard the song, I Will Vote for Donald Trump, right? They voted for Donald Trump to deport people, to deport Latinos. So, you know, it's just idiotic, right? A lot of these people that left their homelands come here because they were the ruling class that screwed people back home, or they supported the ruling class. And this is what I'm saying. Many of the leftists, the socialists, and they all say, they're just fleeing U.S. imperialism. No, they're not. They're fleeing corruption in their homeland. Yes, U.S. imperialism did have a hand in assisting and destabilizing their country. Their country was able to be destabilized because of the sellouts within. When many Haitians talk about 1804 and celebrate, they stop short of telling the whole story. They tell the story of 1804, the story of liberation and redemption. They don't tell the story of devastation and disgust, which means some, not all, but enough of their people sold out, which is why the French was able to come and recolonize them and demand they pay reparations for their freedom. Dessalines and many of the Haitian leaders who stood on Haitian business was assassinated. It's the same thing with all these African countries as well. Y'all saw what happened with Gaddafi, right? U.S. military coups and propaganda campaigns. And these people want to talk about Christianity. Gaddafi was sodomized, right? They're sticking sharp bayonets up his butthole. Just what type of person do you have to be to facilitate that, right? Even you can't see that, but if you just paint a vivid picture of someone bending a man over and taking a sharp, pointy object, an object that can slice people from limb to limb, and you sticking that up against someone's butthole, right? All because the U.S. told you to. All because he was supposedly oppressing his people. So, okay, he was oppressing his people, so you do that to him? He was oppressing his people, but there wasn't no open slave trade in Libya, and now there is an open slave trade. So how was sticking a knife up his butthole at the behest of the Western powers? How did that help Libya again? And who is going to fight for Libya if everyone is fleeing, right? If all Africans are fleeing the continent of Africa, Africa is just a hellscape for people to go there and just extract resources. It's an extraction hub because people there, not enough people are willing to stand on business there. You don't got to like Bibi Netanyahu. Bibi Netanyahu was standing on Israel business in Israel. Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. He's standing on Burkina Faso business in Burkina Faso. You can't say I'm the king of Chicago and live in Minnesota. You can't say I'm the king of Senegal and live in Sacramento. So all of these people coming over here trying to tell me, oh, you got a degree, your degree would be better served in your homeland. There's no degree or accomplishment that you can try to show to us that's going to impress us. Oh, look, we got a degree. We've been had degrees. We had degrees under duress. There were people that were formerly enslaved and got degrees. That's not exciting us. Oh, we graduated for a school. We built schools. Like we literally built a school from ground up, brick by brick. What are the historically Nigerian schools that you want to go to, right? What are the historically Senegal schools that you want to go to? I'm not trying to disparage or denigrate. I'm just asking questions, right? And then this gets framed as xenophobia because then people come here to historically Black colleges. They're not historically African colleges. They're not historically sub-Saharan colleges. They're historically Black colleges created by foundational Black American freedmen here in America. The United States of America as the country and on the continent. That's where they were created, here So don't try to come pop your collar because you immigrated and went to the schools that we built. We tip our hat. We have been the ones inviting everyone. Here, you can come to our schools. Here, you can come to our cookout. And then they came to the cookout and tried to say, hey, everything about this cookout is African. It's like literally nothing about it is African. Shut up, you African, right? They come to a HBCUs and talk about having an African takeover. Huh? We let y'all come to our schools and we embrace y'all, and then y'all want to say that it's an African takeover? But I thought we was all Africans. And really think about this, how idiotic it sounds. There's a fixation on making you and calling you a generic African, right? And then they'll distinguish and say, oh, when the Africans come over, they do this and but I thought you said we're all Africans. So really think about how stupid this is. We're supposed to call ourselves African American, but these other groups are what? African? I'm an African American and someone from Senegal is an African. No, I'm a foundational Black American freedman. You're from Senegal, you're from Jamaica. How about you have some ethnic pride? The days of flat blackness is over. All you got to do is take a page out of the Asian playbook. Yeah, they'll acknowledge other Asian groups, but they don't do the flat Asian thing, right? Samurai culture isn't Asian culture. Samurai culture is Japanese culture, and Japanese people happen to be Asian. It's not just a blanket Asian culture, right? Filipinos don't have a history of being samurais, right? It's a distinct culture within Japanese society. So when we talk about the distinctiveness of our culture, don't try to lump it in with every part of the diaspora and the motherland. No, my motherland is here. My motherland isn't in Africa. It's in America. This isn't because I don't know who I am or where I'm from. I know exactly where I'm from America. When you go to Africa, they tell you where you're from, America. You said OBD interviewed a white supremacist. How'd that go? Who is OBD? Bernie is a slick bigot. Yeah, I don't rock with Bernie like that. Bernie didn't march with King. He was photoed at a protest with his youth. No, and that's why I said allegedly. I personally never said that, but that photo was going viral, and then Bernie didn't do a lot to clear it up. He just kind of let a bunch of the steam, because people were saying, Bernie can't be bigoted. He marched with King. And I was just saying, no, he didn't. But let's just hypothetically say that he did. Even if he did, that's extremely disrespectful to King, because you knew King stood for reparations and Bernie was against it. You said they actually do that, but offer no tangibles is ridiculous. Yeah. And tangibles isn't just about reparations. I support foundational Black American freedmen getting reparations in the form of a check and other compensatory justice. However, there are other measures that we can get. Anti-Black hate crime bill. I know Roger talks about public banks and things like that. The Freedmen's Bureau. These things won't cost the Democrats any money, but they have been making a concerted effort to make us generic African so that they can do this destiny swap. Hey, you're African American. So then if I get a Sudanese immigrant, hey, they're African and they're an American citizen. They're African American. So they're presenting these people as your spokespeople. No, we need to draw a line in the sand. These people speak for Sudanese immigrants, right? They shouldn't be disparaged because they have darker skin or an accent or something. But no, they don't speak for us. Again, I always use the Asian community to be analogous, because when I say it about our community, people act clueless. Huh? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Easy? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Only when I use the Asian analogy, then suddenly you know what I'm talking about. There's a reason why they have Chinatown. It's not called Asia Town. It's called Chinatown. There's a reason why they have Koreatown and Japantown. Chinese people can't speak on behalf of Japanese people. They don't say we all Asian, so Japanese people can speak up and speak for Chinese people. Now, anyone can speak up for a group, right? But you can't speak for that group. If someone wants authentic Chinese representation, it needs to come from a Chinese person. I'm not going to go interview someone from the Philippines and start asking them about Chinese culture and Chinese politics, especially when I have a Chinese American available to answer those questions. So when you're talking about foundational Black American freedom, you need to hear it from us, from the horse's mouth. Don't go talk to some Haitian. Don't go talk to someone from Senegal, someone from Nigeria, someone from Ghana, and say, y'all all Black, y'all all African, y'all all the same. No, we're not. Which is why in South Africa, they're kicking Nigerians out, which, you know, I think is very cowardly because they won't stand up to the Afrikaners, but they will stand up to the Africans. So I really can't respect that, but I'm just saying what it is. Nigerians are being brutalized and kicked out of South Africa. Ghana is kicking Nigerians out, right? So on the continent of Africa, they're not united. They're not practicing Pan-Africanism in Africa. But I'm supposed to be some lost generic Pan-African looking to the motherland when I haven't even got justice here on my own motherland. And think about this. They want you to hate America so much. Why y'all FBA celebrating the 4th of July? And then I look around and I'm like, hold on, why are y'all trying to flee to this country? Y'all sending America so bad. U.S. imperialism stabilized your country. You know, America is just this bigoted hellscape, but yet you're fighting to get here. They're trying to tell FBA, man, y'all might want to go look at another place to live. And then meanwhile, they want to live here. So y'all trying to get us to go live in some distant land that we're not from, that we don't know anything about. And all the people that are shouting death to America, guess where they're trying to immigrate to? America. A lot of the people that have all of these vitriolic posts against America, guess where they're at? In America. So again, how are you trying to get me to hate my own country while you're living off the high horse in my country? Make it make sense. You can't, because it doesn't. Bernie Sanders diluted reparations for other groups of people. Yeah, Bernie Sanders is a hypocrite and a bigot. So again, F-U-C-K, Bernie Sanders. Someday we are going to replace that foreign car you standing in front of with Germany trade. That and by a Friedman car company, the Avani EV by Derek Bailey. And Roger is always talking about this. I'm going to have to do a segment on this. So shout out to the brother, Derek Bailey. If you do want to get a EV, why are y'all getting a Tesla? Tesla is not even the top EV. To be honest, China has the top EVs and they're much more cheaper than Teslas. However, with the tariff, it will make them about the same or even more expensive than a Tesla because Trump put 100% tariff on them. But yeah, the Chinese EVs are way better than Tesla in terms of reliability, in terms of features. But you've been convinced because some rapper put a Tesla in a video. And even if you love Tesla, Elon Musk is an anti-Black bigot. So why would you want to be riding around with someone that blatantly hates your community? In 2016, Bernie Sanders got irate about mentioning Black Americans at least 50 times. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bernie Sanders is a bigot, so we have to just stop pretending that he's anything other than that. You know, they say what Trump is, how bad Trump is. How was Bernie really any different than Trump? So shout out to M-Dub for spreading the message for the freedmen. If only all non-Black people could, you know, be this supportive, you know, we will be on to making a better union, a better place, and a better society. I gave myself an idea. In the 60s, we supported Chevys. In the 70s, Cadillacs. From the 80s on, German cars. I like to push the culture to say if we can propel other man's comps, let's do for our own. I concur. No pushback from me here. A lot of times people like to do flashy things and they look at other groups and say, hey, we like that, so we're going to make this flashy, rather than putting that energy into just creating something from scratch to make it flashy. They take something that's already built and turned it. And that's typically what we do. We take something that's already there and then we innovate it and take it to the next level. So same thing with Timberland boots. That wasn't made for us, but we took it to the next level. So just stop rocking Timbs and create a Timberland style boot. Obviously, it's not going to be called Timberland, but create that style boot. You know what I mean? Even if it's a, you know, low production, even if they're very rare. I always say Forget the brand names, brand your name. And, you know, some people heard me saying that and they were saying, oh, B-Eazy, he telling y'all not to wear no brand names. No, you can wear whatever you want. But what I'm saying is many times people have a fixation on other people's names more so than their own name. People will be wearing Tommy Hilfiger, Very Wang, Michael Kors, Gucci, Versace, all someone else's name. So you hold in everyone else's name in high regard, in appropriate reverence, but you don't even put that much respect on your name. Most of the times people are afraid to say their name because, you know, their name isn't with an alias, right? Shout out to Roger Meadows. Hi, I'm Roger Meadows, right? You know, that's how it used to be. Now people just have a alias, which there's nothing wrong with having an alias, you know, people dox and all this other stuff. But I'm talking about within the, you know, within the normal day-to-day life and society, many people are just not really proud of standing on their name, right? You watch all these old movies. Oh, you know, I'm John Mearsheimer III. Oh, you know, I'm Bartholomew Burden VI, right? Like people stood on their name and lineage. And now, you know, a lot of times people try to hide behind their names and say, hey, look at the name brands that I have on. You know what I mean? That should get you to like me. But like, no, like if someone has on a Gucci t-shirt and someone has on a Walmart white tee, are you going to like a person based on the tag on their tee? And if the answer is no, then how much do these brands really have, right? I mean, if someone saved your life and they had on a Walmart tee, are you going to be like, damn, thanks for saving my life, but man, I wish you had on a Louis Vuitton shirt. That would have made you saving my life that much better. You wouldn't say something like that unless you're a demented person. They killed Dessalines after he gave them freedom. And this is what I'm saying. Dessalines stood on business, not just for, you know, the Haitian community, but, you know, for the universe, right? Because an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere, right? Like the late, great MLK said. But they unalived Dessalines after he gave them freedom. We have to tell the whole story. That was sick, twisted, disgusting, diabolical, and deplorable. Doesn't mean that every person did that, but it does mean that there was a contingent of sellouts that sold Haiti out. We just got to call it what it is. Because some wanted power and to create a dynasty. Most of the Haitian emperors didn't last long, 3 years at most, right? That doesn't sound very unifying. Just look how much money we sent out of our community to those white-owned companies. Now, whatever the opposite word for boycott is, let's do that. Yeah, I did a stream. Don't boycott, ban. A boycott is usually a temporary thing and is usually a negotiation tactic. A ban is saying, no, I'm walking away. I'm throwing the deuces. And shout out Melanated. She's still in here rocking. I sincerely appreciate you. Oh, you said OBD. Okay, I was like, bro, I thought you were trying to say, I thought you were talking about old dirty bastard. Salute to the great. Bernie was more focused on preserving dub supremacy by focusing on universal policies. Correct. Why support Tesla? I don't support Tesla. Tesla, they were in lawsuits. There were the black people. And mind you, this is in the Bay Area. This is supposed to be a bastion of liberal thought, right? Vote blue no matter who, right? This is, you know, in California, the Bay Area, right? There were nooses being held in, and when it came to the promotions, like none of the black people were being promoted. They were promoting Asians, they were promoting Hispanics, they were promoting H-1B visas, but not the blacks. And if they did promote a black person, which they didn't, they made sure that he was an African or Caribbean immigrant. There's a black man who owns an electric car in Atlanta. If you can tell me the name, that would be better so that I can share it to the people, because I don't want to just search black man who owns electric car in Atlanta. But if you don't have a name, then that's what I will do. A Republican congressional candidate responded to my reparations pledge and had questions about the dollar amount. Well, you know, at least they responded. They're not really serious about it, but at least they responded. The Democrats won't even respond at all. They'll say, yeah, we believe in reparations. And you're like, oh, the Democrats believe in reparations for foundational Black American freedmen. And they say, no, not for freedmen, for people of color. And then it turns out that everybody gets reparations except for us, you know what I mean? And no one could define what a POC is. They just say, it's a person of color. Okay, if you're saying that someone is a person of color, then we should know what color they are. But that's a very simple thing, right? They'll say that Asians are people of color. Okay, you mean to tell me that those pale Chinese people are people of color? What color are they? They're yellow. No, they're not. They're lighter, brighter, paler, and whiter than many white people. Well, Asian people are people of color. Like, okay, have you seen those Korean K-pop people? According to this nebulous term, they're people of color. But again, what color? So please retire that goofy term. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this video from Professor Black Truth. And then I probably got about like 25 more minutes and then I will be shutting it down. So while I'm pulling up this video, just in case you haven't hit the like button, I'm going to give y'all 30 seconds with this intermission.
If you feel the vibe, like, share, and subscribe. We growing on this journey. Come and take a ride. If you want to slide with that dude, be easy. We going all the way to the top, believe me. All the way to the top, believe me.
Okay, and we are back. So hopefully y'all took the time to like the stream. It is free. Will not cost a fee. So I'm gonna react to the Honorable Professor Black Truth. And this video is titled Ashley Etienne is trying to speak for Black voters. Now, just in case you don't know, Ashley Etienne is someone, hold on. Let me try to pull up her picture real quick. Ashley Etienne, when she was elected into Congress, they were talking about how Haitian she was, which, hey, it's a beautiful thing. I love my Haitian brothers and sisters, right? But I just want y'all to see who Ashley Etienne is. Let me pull this down real quick. And remember, these people, they want us to have a short memory. So this is Ashley Etienne right here, right? Beautiful Haitian sister, right? Now, we, for many years, have done the all flat blackness, and shout out to John. I'm glad you still rocking, bro. You definitely gonna want to tune into this segment. Assurance, shout out to the resident Haitian. Etienne sounds like a Haitian name. It is a Haitian name. Sac passe, Assura, right? And Assura is a Haitian gentleman, right? And shout out to my bro, Stan Joseph. I know Stan Joseph, he gets a little bit triggered by my commentary, but when I ask, where's the lie? I only hear crickets because it's irrefutable, because this isn't about an attack on anyone. But what I'm saying is this is who Ashley Etienne is. When she got into office, it was Haiti stand up. First Haitian director, Haitian this, Haitian that. It wasn't about blackness. It wasn't about African Americanness. It was about her Haitian heritage, which is nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing. But now that Trump is over here trying to end TPS and mass deport a bunch of Haitians, she's not saying anything for the Haitians. She's not standing up for Haitians. She's trying to wag her fingers and talk about the Black community and what the Blacks need to do. And she's talking about Black Americans. So no, you're Haitian. Why aren't you speaking for and to the Haitian community? And what I'm saying is, yeah, racially, we can say that, hey, this person represents the Negroid racial group, right? But we're not making everything about race. Our identity isn't race-based. Our ethnicity is based on the soil here. And this chick from an immigrant background wants to try to pretend as if she's speaking up for us, but like let's get into the video and we're gonna break this down. I just had to show that because it wasn't too long ago people used to say this, and now people are trying to pretend as if they never said this. I've heard it countless times, and I even hear people who are foundational Black American freedmen say it. So I have to be clear and reiterate this. If you identify as an Israelite, if you identify as a Moor, Hebrew, an Indian, and an Aboriginal, that's okay. I'm not telling you what to identify as and what not to identify as, but you're having a separate discussion. What people try to do is bogart their ideology onto other people. When we say we're foundational Black American freedmen, we galvanize based on the people who are of that lineage and identify with that ethnonym, right? We don't say I'm foundational Black American and we need to convert these people who claim they Israelite to. No, if you're Israelite, fine. You should be building a community of Israelites, but you're speaking to and for the Israelites, right? Because remember, you ain't Black, right? So, nigga, why are you trying to speak for us? Say and make the distinction every time that you speak for Israelites so we can know who is talking and what they're talking about, right? So, people always used to say, Black is just a color. Why y'all call yourselves Black? It's no country called Black. There's no country called Africa either. Yeah, but it's a continent. Yeah, but there's no country called Africa, just like there's no country called Black. There's no country called white. Notice these people never say, why y'all call yourselves white? White is just a color. Many of these people are trying to assimilate and get closer to whiteness, a color. And I'm just debunking these things in real time. I've debunked them many other times, but these are just a simple debunking. The Black is just a color in a crayon box, which is one of the stupidest things that anyone could say, because they'll say that Black is a color in a crayon box, and then they'll use the term people of color. So if colors are so bad, why are you trying to identify a group of just a mass group by colors? And then what colors are they? Because I'm sure those colors are in a crayon box. Yellow. They called Asians yellow. Yellow is in the crayon box. They call some white people pink palm colored. Pink is in the crayon box. Beige. Beige is in the color crayon box. Brown. Black and brown. Brown is in the coloring box. Black is in the coloring box. White is in the coloring box. So the whole Black is just a color in a crayon box. Okay. And then they'll talk about, I'm brown. I'm not Black. Well, brown is in that crayon box too. So just really think about how stupid y'all sound when y'all saying some of this stuff. But people used to say this all the time. I'm not Black. I'm Nigerian. I'm not Black. I'm Yoruba. I'm Igbo. I'm not Black, I'm Haitian. It wasn't just the Dominicans. I know Black, Papi. It wasn't just them. But now people want to try to pretend, well, I always call myself Black. No, you didn't. You were shaming us for calling ourselves Black. But now everybody wants to be Black. And they only want to be Black for a few reasons. So they can say nigga, so they can talk down on us. And so that any accomplishment that we do, they can say, we did this and we fought the civil rights and we was enslaved and we went through Jim Crow. And you know what I'm going to say? We did that and we fought.
Who is we? Who is we?
And you know what you're going to hear after that question? Crickets. Let's get into it. So I told you I got about 20 more minutes and then I'm going to shut her down. I appreciate y'all. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world. Y'all chose to be here with me, at least momentarily. And for that, I thank you.
I'm the professor, and this is the moment of truth.
I'm Ashley Etienne. I have been a political strategist for about 20 some odd years. I worked in leadership, a communications director, first person of color communications director for Speaker Pelosi, as well as Vice.
So she already lost me right there, right? So look at this woman, right? Mind you, she is a Haitian woman. And Ashura says, get me out the color box. Hey, I respect that, right? And this is what people have always said, like, bruh, like, why are you reducing me down to a color? I'm Haitian, I'm Senegalese and stuff. But see, when we talk about black, we don't talk about black as a color. We're saying blackness is our identity, right? That's what our ethnonym is. And this is why we talked about being foundational Black American freedmen, right? We say it collectively, right? Because our names have shifted many times, whether it be Negro, colored, Indian, mulatto, octoroon, quadroon, and all of this other stuff. We've chose to embrace blackness, right? And that's okay if others don't. But what happens is many times people will say, hey, don't call me a color. I'm Haitian, I'm Nigerian and stuff. I ain't black. And then we turn around and say, oh, we used to try to convince people, no. Forget Yoruba, you're black like us. And they used to say, no, we're not black. And then finally we woke up and say, you know what? Actually, you're not black. You're Nigerian, you're Jamaican. And now it turns into y'all being divisive. Y'all a hate group. Y'all xenophobic. How? I'm just affirming what you've said decades ago, right? So it's just this game back and forth where people are trying to be black when convenient. And they usually want to use blackness as an extraction process, not to stand on anything tangible, just to say, I'm black like you, so don't say nothing when I'm undermining you. But you see this chick right here, right? She appears to just be a melanated person, a black woman, a Haitian woman to be more pointed. And out the box, she says, I was the first woman, identity politics, and first person of color. So not only did she shed her blackness, she shed her Haitian identity to give some vague, vapid, broad person of color. Who the hell are they talking about? They love to use this term person of color, but when I ask the simple question, what color is the person you're referring to? Many times the people that you're referring to are classified as white. There's many people that have brown skin that are classified as white. But hey, don't call them white because their skin is brown. Or if their skin is brown, why are they checking the white box? Well, they're not white. It's just they chose to check the box. Well, if they chose to check the box, I'm going to choose to call them white. There's these games where people like to play. Hey, I'm not white. I'm different. Well, tell me how different you're in the other box. The box that says other, that's for different people. You check that box and write your differences. Hey, I check the box and write Jewish. Check the box and write something else. Don't check the white box and say, don't call me white. Don't call me what you're legally classified as. Make it make sense, right? But this shows you how toxic that terminology is. And this is what the Democrats want to do. They want to use terms, minority, underserved groups, disenfranchised groups, underprivileged groups, and people of color. When you use those terms, who the hell are you talking about? You could be talking about anyone, but the issue is when she's using it, she's talking about black voters, black voters, black voters, black voters, black voters, black voters, and then people of color. Hold on, who are we talking about? Because I just heard you say black, 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 and then you pivoted to people of color. And that's what they do. They say blackity, black, 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 black to get the attention of black people to only pivot to try to galvanize by people of color. But there's no coalition of people of color. You get in a group and you think you're in a coalition of people of color and you say, yeah, look, man, we're all facing hatred. And then the POC say, stop Asian hate. They didn't say stop POC hate. They didn't say stop black hate. The leading victims of hate crimes are black people. The same year that they passed that C-19 anti-Asian hate crime bill, the leading victims of hate crime was black people. But they gave Asians a hate crime bill. And there were no Asians saying, hey, we got to stick up for our other POCs. You said, I get you, B-Eazy. I was joking, forgot to add. Okay. I almost had to get you up out of here, sure. But nah, I'm just joking. But shout out to Melanated Agenda, still rocking out with us. And like I said, I probably got like 15 more minutes and then I will shut her down. A fiscally conservative case for a 32-hour per work week. I mean, that sounds like pie in the sky, not because it's not efficient. It's just because people try to demonize people that want a 32-hour work week as lazy or something like that.
President Harris. And then I was a 20 some odd years. I worked in leadership, a communications director, first woman, first person of color communications.
First woman, first person of color. And you notice when these other groups, when they talk about their accomplishments, they say, you know, first Jewish person, first Asian person, first Chinese person, you know what I mean? They don't call themselves people of color. The only time you said, do your thing, bro, I'll be about 8:15. Yeah, like I said, I probably got about 20 more minutes. So that'll be like right around the time that you start up your stream. So I appreciate you still rocking with me. And after this stream, go check out Big Rig Slaps. He will be loading up some clips. So yeah, let me play this. But yeah, she kind of got me with the whole POC thing out the gate.
Director for Speaker Pelosi, as well as Vice President Harris. And then I was a special assistant for Speaker Pelosi, as well as Vice President Harris. And then I was a special assistant to Barack Obama and a deputy assistant to President Joe Biden.
Now here's someone we haven't seen in a while, and we really could have done without seeing her now. Ashley Etienne, the first Haitian to be a miscommunications director for the White House. So she's a certified tether, by the way. The only reason you even know who Ashley Etienne is because Barack Obama put her on, and that's because she's an immigrant. White supremacy and its tether henchmen have a job set-aside program for tethers, and she's one of them. And now here's...
So again, Obama, who says I identify as an African American. Yeah, because bro, you're a biracial Kenyan. So he's literally Kenyan American. So of course he will try to identify as an African American, but they go out of their way to try to get these people from foreign backgrounds. And this is why they love calling you a generic African, because then Barack Obama could say, hey, you guys are African and I'm Kenyan. So I'm more African than you. So like, you know, he tries to usurp your African-American lineage and bona fides by simply saying, like, I'm really African. I'm really from the motherland. Yeah, you're really African, but you're not really a foundational Black American. This is why we had to draw the distinction. Simply just saying that you're Black American is not even enough, because there's immigrants that come over here and they say, hey, racially, I'm Black and I'm an American citizen, so I'm a Black American. We wouldn't even have to have these conversations if people would just be proud of their heritage and just respect the delineation process. Some call it a movement. I call it a process, right? And it doesn't need to be divisive. It should be about being accurate and distinct. But people try to pretend as if, no, we have to collapse and make us all one big generic African. And they always say the most pathetic thing. When the cops pull us over, they don't know if I'm African or Caribbean. I don't care. My lineage is not based on if the cops pull us over. Not all of us are thuggish criminals doing miscreant stuff in the street. And right now, there's some cops that may pull over a Korean dude and doesn't know if they're Japanese or Korean. Does that mean that they stop being Korean and they shed their Korean identity just because a cop pulled them over and said, hey, your eyes are kind of slanted. Like, you look like a Chinese person, right? Now, they may be offended by it, but they're not going to strip and shed their lineage just because a cop pulled them over. And that's what these people always do. The cops pulled me over and treated me like a nigga, so that means we the same. No, we're not the same, right? And why are you basing your lineage off of your encounters with the cops? How pathetic could you be?
She is deliberately misrepresenting FBA voters in Texas, acting like she's going to talk for them, falsely claiming that the Democrats better watch out because Black voters feel betrayed by the Democrats. Black voters are indeed angry. Nobody can deny that. So instead, they bring out this tether to claim that, well, Black voters aren't mad because the Democrats haven't stepped up with tangibles or any policy specifically for them. Why? Black voters are mad that Kamala Harris didn't win. Yeah. They want more tethers in office. See? No, Black voters stayed home in 2024 because Kamala Harris didn't offer us anything. No tangibles, no vote, no kidding. But even then, this tether wasn't really talking about Black voters. She was more specific than that. Now, when you look at the headline on the false news website, it says black voters. But when you look directly under that, you see it's the same old DNC shill talking points. She's saying that black women are angry because they didn't get anything from the Democrats.
And the reason why you have black electeds and people like Jasmine Crockett that are withholding that enthusiasm and even their endorsement is they've not gotten any indication from the campaign that he's seriously building that infrastructure within the campaign to figure out, okay, what's our immediate next step, because I'm not in the campaign. I don't know what they've done, but that is really the concern that I'm hearing is that, it's sort of more talk and not enough action to actually demonstrate a level of seriousness about engaging, mobilizing, and turning out black voters.
But even then, when you look at what she actually says, she's not even talking.
And then again, you hear them engage, mobilize, organize black voters. Okay, cool. I'll do that. And then when I organize and mobilize them to vote, what exactly are they getting for their vote? Shut up, nigger. Vote blue no matter who, right? That's pretty much what they want you to do. Organize, mobilize to vote Democrat, right? Because if you organize, okay, cool, I got these people organized and mobilized to vote, but they want to vote Republican. Man, y'all sound like MAGA or blagger. Your ancestors died for the right to vote. Okay, they died for the right to vote, so they're going to vote Republican. And then they start shaming you and saying black women are so unprotected and all this other stuff. It turns into a gender divide, all because you want to vote Republican. But their whole thing was that y'all needed to vote. But they want you to vote blue no matter who. These people get their bread and butter off Democrat shillery by getting people to blindly vote for the Democrats and don't get anything from it. You have people who just crossed the border illegally, non-citizens, undocumented aliens who have come over here, and they are getting benefits, tangible benefits that the native population are not even getting. And you're not supposed to demand anything because why y'all begging the government? And as soon as the immigrants come over, the first thing they do is put their hands out to ask the government for something. Elon Musk and all of these oligarchs and plutocrats, they're constantly have their hands out to ask the government for things. But then they're telling the foundational population that shut up, don't ask for anything, just vote for the Democrats who have already been hell-bent on replacing and displacing you. And then don't talk about them displacing you because that's a right-wing conspiracy theory. But then when you look at the numbers, you're like, there's nothing right-wing about this. This is just reality. And no one thinks about this, right? There's foundational black Americans in New York and California, and they can't afford to live so much that they have to flee to other parts of the state or other parts of the country. But you mean to tell me that some people that are poor coming from an underdeveloped nation, they're able to live comfortably in the most expensive cities in America? How is someone that's fleeing third world gang violence able to afford to live in New York? How is someone who was failing in their homeland able to live in expensive California? Let me guess. They came over here with $2 and pulled themselves up by the bootstraps. Pulling yourself up by your bootstrap doesn't mean you get NGO money. Pulling yourself up by your bootstrap doesn't mean that you get food stamps. And I'm not saying that I'm against these social programs. I'm against the notion of that someone helping you, government organizations and government-backed entities helping you, and somehow you doing it by yourself and pulling yourself up by your bootstrap. It doesn't make any sense. You can't tell me that in your homeland where you're most comfortable speaking your language, you couldn't pull yourself up by your bootstrap, but then you can come to America in a more expensive place and then suddenly, eureka, I've done it. I pulled myself up by thy bootstraps. Come on, man. Who are you trying to play? Play with your kids. Not bragging, but I was lucky. I never got pulled over and manhandled and my rights violated by the cops. My guess is a small segment of our people that this happens to. Most racism we face is done through paperwork that we will never see. Correct. And this is what I always try to tell people when you're over here trying to say that, hey, you know what I mean? We all the same because the cops pull us over. No, we're not all the same, right? You know, you're treated differently being an immigrant, all right? I learned NY abolished slavery July 4th, 1827, so I have a reason to celebrate the 4th, even though my lineage is Durr in Charlottesville. Well, I'll say celebrate the 4th because not because our ancestors weren't free at the time. We're celebrating it because we made the country a better place, right? We freed ourselves. We made it a land of milk and honey that people want to flee to. People are typically failing in their homeland, sometimes due to U.S. imperialism and the corrupt failures and mismanagement at their homeland. And we said, you know what? We're humanitarians. We love all of y'all, so we do have a reason to celebrate. We are the foundational population of this country. If people hated this country so much, they wouldn't come here. They only want to come here because of what we fought for. You can try to say, oh, it was the white man country and the white man this. Well, the white man didn't want you here. They don't want you here now, which is why a lot of people are crashing. Ice out, talking about fascism and all this stuff. Remember years ago, they told us to stop complaining. Y'all talk about race too much. Y'all talk about slavery too much. And now what do they want us to talk about? Race, slavery, Jim Crow. They're saying everything is Jim Crow. Trans people can't compete with boys. That's just like Jim Crow. People cross the border illegally and now they're being deported back. That's just like Jim Crow. No, it's not. And I thought y'all wanted us to shut up about Jim Crow. Now they can't shut up about Jim Crow that they didn't experience.
About black women. She's talking about Jasmine Crockett and Kamala Harris. Because they lost their elections, black women are mad at the Democrats, or so she says. This tether claims black women are upset with the Democrats because Ashley Etienne's fellow DNC butt kissers lost their elections. This is what she thinks is going to get black voters, black women to the polls. This is what she thinks that they care about the most, the political fortunes of a Jamaican tether and a buffoon city girl. Jasmine Crockett lost her primary because she and her fellow Democrats refused to actually fight for the black voting rights that they claim to care so much about. When Shelby v. Holder came down in 2013, that was a 5-alarm fire for Democrats that the GOP was waging an all-out offensive to eliminate the Voting Rights Act. Every member of the CBC knows that the only reason any of them are in office, the only reason any of them have their cushy political careers is due solely to the Voting Rights Act. Now, if the CBC was actually serious about keeping their elected offices, then the Voting Rights Act would be to them what Israel is to the Jewish lobby, the single most important issue because everything else stems from that. But instead, for 13 years, what have Democrats done, including Jasmine Crockett? They went all out for illegal immigrants, for abortion. Jasmine Crockett wasted all of her time getting into stupid spitball fights with trash like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, Marjorie Greene had an exit strategy. Jasmine Crockett, on the other hand, just got put out on her ear. And yes, she lost her primary to this Tallarico guy because her asinine antics might have worked with low information voters in what was her district, but outside of that, it didn't work at all. Jasmine Crockett spent her brief time in Congress making it excruciatingly clear that she was a totally unserious candidate for office. All the sassy bullcrap and having pictures of herself on the walls behind her, she was a narcissist, not a national candidate. But Ashley Etienne is pushing this line that black women are angry at Democrats over Crockett losing, without pointing out that there's plenty of other black candidates who aren't buffoons.
And just like Bernie Sanders, I said F-U-C-K to Bernie Sanders, F-U-C-K to Jasmine Crash Out Crockett. Because Jasmine Crash Out Crockett, the reason why she lost is because she wasn't galvanizing the black community. She took them for granted. She just said, okay, cool. They black, I'm black. Black girl magic. I'm a sister girl. They gonna vote for her. And they said, hell to the no. The majority of black people that voted did vote for her. However, the majority of black voters didn't vote at all. And then you got people like Roland Martin calling people stupid fools. Why y'all fools didn't vote blue no matter who? Like, the little stuttering portly stooge. Okay, cool. What the hell were they going to get? Jasmine Crash Out Crockett was over there doing, the salsa, merengue, and the Macarena with the Latino community. And the Latina community, they was dancing with Jasmine Crash Out Crockett. And then they said, hey, Jazzy Boo, Jazzy Faye, we ain't voting for you. And they voted for James Tallarico. The reason why they said many of them voted for Tallarico is because they said, oh, well, his name sounded Latino. Right. So all of the people that say the identity politics is dead. Y'all need to stop with the identity politics. But then the Latino community said Tallarico, and that sounds Latino. So I'm going to vote for him. Look at California. They said Javier Becerra. I'm going to vote for him. You know what I mean? It's like, is he really qualified? So they want to vote for people that sound like them, look like them. So Jasmine Crash Out Crockett, you tap dance for the Latino community. And they said, I will vote for Tallarico. I mean, Crockett, Tallarico. Which one sounds more Latino? And Tallarico is just a random white dude. But remember, there's no race called Latino. There's no race called Hispanic. Many of those Hispanics are racially white, and the ones that are not racially white, they still practice mejoró la raza, blancamiento, translation, lighten, brighten, and whiten the race. Many of these people are very anti-black. So not only do they want their people dating and mating black people, they don't want to be led by a black person, but they'll be led by a blanco. They don't want to be led by a negro or negrito, but they'll be led by a blanquito. History has shown you this. And then we want to blame, well, they were colonized. Well, they're not colonized now. Now they're making a concerted, conscientious effort to distance themselves from blackness. If you believe your advancement of the race is predicated on lightening the race, then you're an enemy to black people, because you see black people as having the power to genetically annihilate you, which is why you have a bunch of Latinos to say they refuse to let their daughters date and mate black people, but they don't say that about Asians, and they don't say that about white people. So as a Latino, you can get knocked up by an Asian dude, you can get knocked up by a white dude. Unfortunately, many of them prefer you get knocked up by a white dude. But if you get knocked up by a black dude, you essentially get shamed and shunned by the community, unless that kid goes off to do something great, and then they'll turn around and say, hey, he's Latino. You know what I mean? Like, is he really? It turns into a Carmelo Anthony situation. When people seen Carmelo Anthony, everybody just thought he was black. Everybody thought he was a Negro, right? And then he wins an award and he's like, I want to thank Puerto Rico. I want to thank the Boricuas. It's like, huh? Like, bruh, Puerto Rico never stood up for you, never did anything for you. But, you know, at the height of his career, he wants to thank Puerto Rico. Fine. But when they was clowning him and, you know, ostracizing him, it was only the black community coming to his defense. But, you know, it kind of is what it is, bro. Let's get back into it.
Who the Democrats outright refuse to support at the local level. There are plenty of black candidates who could get into office if the Democrats decided to actually open up.
And I'm just going to fast forward through some of it just so I can shut it down at the time that I said, which is about 10 more minutes.
Full stop. They saw the direction black men were going, so they put all their chips on that. It's the same reason that they put Ketanji Brown on the Supreme Court. It was about bolstering those sagging black female voter numbers because black women had gotten tired of the scam too. They've been on the merry-go-round enough times to realize it doesn't go anywhere. So he gave a tether and a swirler a job and figured that was all he had to do to shore up his black female support for 2024. Keep in mind, historically, that's the purpose that a vice presidential running mate serves.
And this is the other thing, too. Shout out to all my sisters out there, but I don't know any sisters that said, I'm going to vote for Biden because he put a black woman on the Supreme Court bench. What does that do for the black community? No, seriously, like, aren't we past the symbolism? So then you're supposed to be proud. Your daughter could aspire to be like a Ketanji Brown Jackson. Why? So you want your daughter to aspire to be a butt kisser, bed wench? Like, okay, like, so what exactly are they aspiring to? Aspire to get you a white zaddy? Aspiring to get, you know, the praise of the establishment? What the hell is the Ketanji Brown Jackson does? Really think about how stupid this is. You're supposed to praise Ketanji Brown Jackson for being a black woman, and then they asked this black woman what a woman was, and she couldn't even define what a woman is. So how the hell are we praising Ketanji Brown Jackson for being a black woman when that black woman doesn't even know what being a woman is? Remember, this is the elite. This is the boule class, right? She went to a prestigious university, so prestigious that she can't even tell you what a woman is. Just like Buck Corey Sellout went to a prestigious university but can't even say Colorado. Mind you, here I am, a person with no degree, and is intellectually eviscerating these people. But hey, don't listen to him. He from the hood. He a thug. Okay, but listening to these goofy ass cats in Congress that are just misleading you and lying to you. Okay, I've pointed out the lies that they have said. Where's the lie that I've told? Don't worry. I'll wait.
To help the presidential candidate win voters who they might be having trouble reaching. That's why you choose someone to be your running mate, because they can appeal to this or that constituency that the front runner on the ticket may not have a lot of support from. Biden wasn't thinking about how to make Kamala Harris president. Of course he tried to run for re-election. I mean, why wouldn't he? Biden wanted the same thing that every first-term president wants. A second term. Far as he was concerned, he had no confidence in her. She was just there to get a particular constituency that he was weak with, but he never saw actual presidential potential in her. Same way Barack Obama made Biden his running mate, because as a biracial candidate, he needed a white male to be his running mate to put just enough of the racist white voters in the center at something less than full panic. Biden had already lost 2 presidential runs in a row on his own. And at his age, nobody was thinking that he was going to be a natural successor to Obama. That's why Biden didn't run in 2016. Hillary did. Biden's job was to get the white male voters who wouldn't even dream of voting for Obama unless there was a white man in the picture somewhere. And it worked. All throughout this piece, though, they kept switching between saying black voters and black women and black community. This is DNC shill talk. Seeing that they're being ignored, the shills are still trying the old
So yeah, they keep doing this pivot, right? Like I said, they'll say black this, black voters, black community, and then they pivot to people of color, marginalized groups, and then black and brown, black and Latino. But when the Latinos are talking, they don't mention black people. The only time they mention black people is to quote MLK and say, MLK said, I have a dream, so we should open the borders, right? They only mention the black community as a way to buffer their argument, not to draw any lines of solidarity. Their solidarity so much as you are kowtowing to their agenda. And unfortunately, too many of us, we've been engaged in this solidarity coalition politics. I'm a Marxist. I'm a communist. Who are the prominent Marxists that you know that have done anything for the community? They'll talk about Fred Hampton and all this other type of stuff. Okay, Fred Hampton was assassinated. Where was the rainbow coalition of Marxists that rode for him afterwards? It was black people who stood up for Fred Hampton. They talk about the Brown Berets. Where the hell are the Brown Berets now? Where are they now and where are they then? Right? So don't mention me any of these groups. And then if you want to talk about the Brown Berets, who is the brown version of Fred Hampton? Who is the Mexican, Latino, Puerto Rican, Bolivian, Dominican version of MLK? Who is the Asian version of Malcolm X? Who is the white version of Fred Hampton? All of these civil rights leaders, right? All of these people who push progressivism forward, the people that you name predominantly are foundational Black Americans. And then the people that you name that are from a different lineage, they came here and stood on business with us. They talk about Stokely Carmichael. Stokely Carmichael only came and was standing on business here. When he immigrated here, he was an 11-year-old. So he immigrated into the struggle and the fight that we are already doing. They falsely attribute the Black Power. Now, he did help to popularize Black Power, but people were standing on Black Power before Stokely Carmichael. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, we got to put all these things into context. But let me fast forward a little bit more because I was supposed to shut it down, but I'll do so in, like, here pretty soon.
The music stopped, and here she is trying to get the music to start up again. You can hear her little crusty toenails tapping as she gets ready to do her little buck dance for massa. So predictably, this tether is doing her job, trying to present herself as being one of us, and then saying the opposite of everything black voters say. And by the way, you notice this time around, Ashley Etienne, she ain't sticking up for Haitians. Didn't say a word about Haitians, just like Karine Stank-Pierre. Because when Jen Psaki resigned and Karine Stank-Pierre got her job, she made sure to mention every chance she got that she was the first Haitian to be a White House press secretary. She said that every chance she got. Oh, she wanted to make sure everybody knew she's of Haitian descent, don't you know? This is a Haitian woman here, just in case you didn't know. Yeah, that's how it was then, but now these guys are singing a brand new tune, and the new tune is Mum's the Word. All of a sudden, they're not out there beating their chest like Tarzan and repping Haiti. Gee, I wonder why. This is about lying, deceiving, whatever they got to do to get away with dictating our opinions to us. Oh, these are going to be you need to have one of their own. Well, someone who can try to palm themselves off as one of their own, who lead them around by the nose. That's what they're trying to do. This is why False News felt comfortable giving Etienne space on their website. And they didn't attack her. They didn't try to discredit her. They didn't say, oh, well, this woman's wrong. Oh, no. They want this message out there to say that black voters are upset at Democrats, but not because they're not getting us any tangibles, but because a tether and a buffoon city girl didn't get elected. Because that doesn't threaten the status quo. It reinforces it. Well, black voters are staying home because we're not being offered anything. Ashley Etienne identifies with Kamala and Crockett because they're all trying to get as much money as they can and be cogs in a political machine. But without mentioning reparations or an anti-black hate crime bill or to demand a national registry for physicians whose black maternal and infant patients die or a national registry of DA's peremptory challenges during jury selection to make it mandatory that all grand jury proceedings must be public, if they're not doing those bare minimum things, then they're not speaking for us at all.
And like he said, those are the bare minimum things that they can do. Now, I got one short video. It's only like 40 seconds. And then after that, I'm going to shut it down. So this just goes into what we're talking about in terms of the gender divide. The Dems still haven't learned their lesson. So they're still pushing, this kind of gender war BS. And Jasmine Crash Out Crockett, who was behaving. We don't truly know what her background is. She may be a tether. She may just be a homegrown Sambat or Raccoonette, right? So let me end with this, right? Because when they're talking about the black community is comprised of black men, black women, black boys, black girls, and the black family. That is the totality of the black community. Black women alone are not the black community. Black men alone are not the black community. So when people pretend as if they're standing up for the black community, but then they say, and black women and black women and the women and the women and the women, like, huh? Like, I thought we were talking about the community. So why are you fixated on only the women? But y'all gonna hear what I'm talking about when I play this video. And after this, we will shut her down. So let's hear what Crash Out Crockett has to say, which was utterly disgusting.
Because whether it's an invention that she made.
Give me 1 second. All right, let's hear what Crash Out Crockett has to say. Now, remember, this is from the mind of a brain dead, buck broken, boule bimbo.
So when it comes to answering the question of what America owes black women, the answer is everything. When we think about the sacrifices that black women have made from the moment that we were stolen from our homelands and transported into this country, to the fact that black women continue.
Here we go again. Y'all heard it. Black women. They say stolen from our homeland. No, see, this is the whole thing. And I couldn't even finish the whole thing, right? Stolen for our homeland. So just say, hey, we were generic Africans and we were stolen for our homeland. No, my homeland is here. And this is what's disrespectful, and this is what they try to brainwash you into. So if Africa is our homeland, then what is America? Really think about this. Africa is your homeland. Then what does that make America? You didn't build up Africa. You didn't fight in any wars in Africa. You fought in 0 wars in Africa. That's your homeland. You don't know anything about African customs. That's your homeland. You don't eat any African foods. That's your homeland. You don't do any African tribal dances. That's your homeland. You don't have any African tribal names or customs. That's your homeland. No, your homeland is here. All of the things you developed here, you're supposed to strip that and say, no, you owe it to your homeland, which was in Africa. And then let's just say hypothetically that they did kidnap Africans from Africa. Was it only the women that they took, or did they take men and women? So why is she only trying to play this gender divide? Oh my God, Black women are owed so much. So then when it's time to dole out the resources, they don't give it to the Black community. They give it to the Black women. And the Black women are the overseers of the community, right? Because they love to talk about smash the patriarchy. Okay, cool. Let's just say we smash the patriarchy. And then what? We just are left with the Black matriarchy. The Black matriarchy that is going to try to contend with other patriarchies. Make it make sense. You think a Black matriarchy, which means a community led by Black women, is going to be able to stand up against a Chinese patriarchy run by Chinese men with the support of Chinese women, right? The Chinese women are not saying smash the patriarchy. Russian women aren't saying smash the patriarchy, but here we got saying smash the patriarchy. So what? We can replace it with a matriarchy run by women. You already said that the women are winning, right? And killing it, Black girl magic and stuff, right? How far did they get you? That Black girl magic didn't work in Texas. The Latino said, I will vote for Talarico. They didn't say I would vote for Crockett, right? So again, this is to my sisters out here, not to the coon crash out Crockett, the sisters. How is this working for y'all, right? What is this saying about your sons? Oh, Black women are owed so much. Okay, what are Black women owed that Black men are not?
So when it comes to answering the question of what America owes Black women, the answer is everything. When we think about the sacrifices that Black women have made from the moment...
What sacrifices have Black men have made?
That we were stolen from our homelands.
You weren't stolen from your homeland. There's a reason why it was called a slave trade. Yes, some were stolen and kidnapped, and many of them were not. Even in fair exchange is no robbery. Many of them were sold for trinkets. Many of those people didn't see themselves as the same. Even look at Africa right now. 3,000 different tribes, 2,000 different dialects, a bunch of people on the same continent that don't see themselves the same. So when they sold other Africans, they didn't seem as they were selling their brothers, their mothers, or cousins. They were selling ops. Imagine there were some Crips and Bloods, and the Crips chained up the Bloods, and then they sold some Bloods into slavery. They wouldn't say, man, I sold my people into slavery. They say, nah, bro was a Blood, or bro was a Crip. He's my op. And that's what they were. That's the type of stuff that they were on. They weren't identifying as just some Pan-African. There's no Pan-Africanism now. So there definitely wasn't Pan-Africanism then. We were stolen from our homeland. No, we weren't. We built our homeland. My homeland is not in Africa. And really think about this. Africa is your motherland. So if Africa is my motherland, why did my mother come get me? None of my family members got it. Those are your brothers, your cousins, your sisters. Okay, why didn't any of my brothers, cousins, sisters, no one came to get me? But still, that's your motherland. No, it's not.
And transported out the sacrifices that Black women have made from the moment that we were stolen from our homelands and transported into this country, to the fact that Black women continue to stand as the backbone specifically of the Democratic Party.
Listen to how stupid she sounds. Black women, we the backbone of the Democrat Party that just sold you up the river. Remember, Barack Tether Obama, he's the first Black president. No, he's not. He's the first biracial Kenyan president, right? We never had a Black president. We had a biracial Kenyan. Salute to Africa and Kenya, right? But Barack Obama, the head tether in charge, he endorsed Tallarico. He endorsed the white dude. He didn't endorse no black girl Crash Out Crockett's Black Girl Magic. He endorsed the white Tallarico. And still she's up here towing the line. We the backbone of the party. Imagine you with a girl and say, hey, baby, you the backbone of my life. And then you don't have any intercourse with her because you're too busy getting busy with the Latina and the Asian down the street. But baby, I love you. You the backbone of my life. And that's why I'm finna go have some sexual relations with Ma Ling and Chung Lee. Because you the backbone. Huh? Somebody says, baby, you the backbone of my life. So I'm going to give you some cup of noodles and I'm going to go give the neighbor some filet mignon steak. Because that proves that you the backbone. And that's what many people have sold, right? We're the backbone of the party, but non-citizens get treated better than you. That's not a flex at all. You actually sound idiotic and pathetic saying that.
When we think about the sacrifices that Black women have made from the moment that we were stolen from our homelands and transported into this country, to the fact that Black women continue to stand as the backbone specifically of the Democratic Party, we know that Black women are always the ones that are doing the labor, but we are also the ones that are always the first targets of any harm. So this 4th of July,
No, you're not. Actually, it's Black men the target of any harm, and this is the Black community collectively. But still, this whole rant was supposed to be about the Black community, and she's at the Essence Tether Fest, right? She's at the Jollof Tether Fest, the Egusi Fest, and she's talking about Black women, and she's pretending as if this is on behalf of the Black community. No, it's not. And then they try to frame it. Oh, look, Jasmine, she's a cute little chocolate thing. And Black men, y'all love the sisters, right? And it's like, yeah, we love the sisters, but we don't like raccoons and sambats, right? So F-U-C-K, Jasmine Crockett. Then it turns into, well, your mama Black. What does my mom have to do with Jasmine Crockett selling us out? What does my mom and my sister being Black have to do with Jasmine Crockett favoring Latinos? And the Latinos said, kiss my culo. The Latinos were one rocking with her. They said, hey, Jazzy baby, you're not like us. And Jazzy, she still crashed out. Talking about Black women, we owe this, we owe that. Does the Democrats know that? The Democrats think that all y'all are owed is a George Floyd statue that no one asked for.
know that Black women are always the ones that are doing the labor, but we are also the ones that are always the first targets of any harm. So this 4th of July, I say celebrate a Black woman that you know, because whether it's an invention that she made or whether it's the very democracy that still hangs by a thread right now, there is a Black woman to thank.
Again, she's talking about the Black women invention. Well, there's more Black men inventions, but I'm not trying to get into like more Black men invented stuff than Black women. I ain't trying to do that because we're part of the same community. But isn't that what she's doing? Look at all the inventions that Black women did. Like she could have just said Black people, but instead she's fixated on talking about Black women. Well, guess what? The community isn't comprised of only Black women. And Sunlight said it right. Anyone who separates Black women from Black people is anti-Black. You can't talk about, I support Black love. Black love who? Black women loving on other Black women? So are you pushing LGBT for the future of the community? Which, hey, if you're LGBT, that's fine. But like, just state it. Don't try to give a mismatch and try to say that, hey, and Black men, y'all need to support us. No, Black men support the community. They don't support only Black men or only Black women. They support the community. So Jasmine Crockout is a coon and a Sam Bet. And this is utterly pathetic. aesthetic. It should be the black women rejecting that. Instead, they'll try to be like, I identify with Sister Crockett. What do you identify with? Because she may have a similar weave. Okay. She goes to my hairstylist. Okay. She's already shown that she don't care about you. She pandered to the Latinos. She disrespected the black community in favor of the Latinos. And still you got sisters saying, we need to stick together. The sisterhood. What has the sisterhood produced besides more votes for the Democrats, more organizing for the Democrats? Use that sisterhood energy and build something outside of a political apparatus. It can be a grassroots political apparatus, but it shouldn't be beholden to the DNC or any other establishment. So yeah, this is rather disgusting. So that's the show right there. I'm gonna see what else y'all got to say, and then I'm gonna shut it down. I think labels to say black women owned is ridiculous, and a lot of times it's not even black women owned, because sometimes it may say black women owned, but now we got to know what type of black woman. Say, because see, people tried to do the same flat blackness, right? It may be a Nigerian immigrant and they're standing on Nigerian business until it's time to represent their company. They won't say Nigerian owned, but like, you're so proud of being Nigerian, so won't you say Nigerian owned? No, it's black owned. You're only saying black owned because you want black Americans to support you, right? So, you know, people are willing to just erase their whole identity for flat blackness. For us, that is our tribe. That is our ethnonym, right? You see it in all of our stuff. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Historically black colleges, black power, black excellence. We lean on black power. These other groups, y'all can say Haitian excellence. Y'all can say Nigerian excellence. So how are you going to talk about Nigerian excellence? Nigerians stand up, fly the Nigerian flag, but then you get a restaurant and then it's just black owned, no, Nigerian owned. Keep the same energy. You got your degree, you're a Nigerian. You became a doctor, you're a Nigerian. You won a gold medal, you're a Nigerian. Now you have a restaurant and you want to pander towards black American freedmen, so you say black American owned. If you say Nigerian owned, you know, if the service is legitimate, the food is quality, we'll still support you. But you think that we're as tribal as you. You know, because if you say Yoruba owned, you know, the Igbos probably won't support you. If you say Hausa owned, you know, the Yoruba probably won't support you. But with us, you know, we were the ones coming up with the concepts of we all black and rooting for everything black. But no, actually, we shouldn't. That's very misguided. I'm rooting for everyone black. OK, what if it's a black pedo or a black serial killer? I'm not rooting for them. So, no, I'm not rooting for everything and everyone black, even if they're foundational black American freedmen, because there's a lot of dirtbags, scumbags, coons and raccoons who are of the lineage. There's a bunch of tethers and despicable people that are outside the lineage. We need to call them out equally and very vociferously. Why can't you say kidnapped and stolen? Objects get stolen while people got kidnapped and traded as commodities without consent, because she's not on code, right? She is just a Democrat's shield. She doesn't even truly believe what she says. The only thing she believes is that black women, not black people, black women are the backbones of the Democrat Party. So if black men, and it's funny because when if the black men don't vote for the Democrats and we say, hey, well, shit, we're at the backbone of the Democrat Party, then they try to say that you need to fall in line and listen to the black women like Tiffany Cross type of said. And then they'll talk about how biblical and they believe in, you know, submission and a husband and all this stuff like that. Nobody gets with a husband and tells the husband to follow the wife's lead. You know what I mean? I understand, like, you know, there's nuance to that, but I'm just saying, right? Is it supposed to be happy wife, happy life, or happy spouse, happy house? If it's just happy wife, happy life, your life is not going to be happy if you have an over fixation or trying to make your wife happy. Now, a happy spouse, that means both partners are dedicated and devoted to ensuring the happiness. I could respect that. Happy spouse, happy house, not the happy wife, happy life. No, happy husband, or he might fuck your cousin. I'm just saying, not advocating for it, but it could happen. It could happen. Sam Bet, you're killing me. So you will tell me she's a star or starting her own black WNBA. Yeah, well, who knows with Jasmine Crash Out Crockett. My mama ain't black. She high yellow. Okay, your mama is a red bone. Shout out to Red Meadows. Most of them use black women to fight against the patriarchy, and white women benefit from black women's struggle for equality, freedom, liberation, and peace. Yeah, it's a bunch of white women saying, smash the patriarchy. And it's like, you're saying smash the patriarchy, but it's like the only reason why you're living in the house is because you were inherited it from your patriarchal dad, right? Your dad who was given an inheritance from his patriarchal dad. So now that they feel that they've reaped enough benefits, now they're saying, smash the patriarchy. Okay, fine. Let's just fast forward and say we smash the patriarchy and replace it with what? A matriarchy? So we're going to have a matriarchy, which is led, governed, and run by women competing against nations that are run by men. So, and what does the patriarchy look like? The matriarchy look like it's going to be a bunch of women in desk jobs and sending all of the men to fight their battles? Or are we just going to pretend like if a woman is in charge that there's going to be no type of wars? There's been people like Nikki Haley, right? She would be a matriarch and she's a warmonger. Hillary Clinton, a warmonger. They got a bunch of Amy Klobuchar, a bunch of women who would be matriarchs and who would be doing the same thing as the evil, meanie, bad patriarchs, running the country into the ground. So I think this has been a fruitful stream. Y'all been rocking out. I've been here over 3 hours. I'm going to play a short visual and then I will be out of here. Hopefully y'all stick around to the end. If you haven't taken the time to like the stream, please do so now. If you want to leave a contribution and you're feeling generous, bada boom, bada bam. I put the Cash App scrolling at the bottom, $Easy Stack. You know what I mean? So if you are willing to forego some of those disgusting fast food options, the Starbucks Frappuccino, you can hit your boy with a contribution. Any act of generosity is appreciated. But if you don't want to break bread, then at least hit your boy with a like. So now, without further ado, hey. B-Eazy Dat Dude, shit so hot it's burning up. Just go ahead and turn this up. I bring the pain like an aftermath of a car wreck. It's a lot of niggas that say they real, but to me that shit is far-fetched. Most them cats is pussy. They really is on some feminine stuff. I rap on them with the 40 ounces. The definition of adrenaline rush. What it do is sweet like cinnamon puffer. My niggas is rough like Willow Pass. Grew up out on Mary Mac, but I used to hang on Willow Pass. These birds that I roll with, outcasts and misfits. Better zip lips so you get hit when the fifth spit. Flatline in your Fitbit. Trap habits is black magic, no voodoo. Get the bands like Buku. For the cocaine, they go cuckoo. Most these niggas is foo-foo, so I'm shitting on them like doo-doo. I can't fuck with y'all like tofu. I'm just saying, man, like Goku. Bad bitches at the house with me watching Netflix or Roku. Fuck them both at the same time, and I swear to God it was so cool. Street legend, real boss, I call shots cause I'm still saucy. I know some G's to the bike crack on Chirac and then fly back out the mill. When they hear me flow, they say I be burning up, burning up. Cookie to the draw is what we burning up, burning up. What you ain't know, oh, we burning up, burning up. This shit so hot, it's burning up. Just go ahead and turn this up. When you hear me flow, say I be burning up, burning up. Cookie to the draw is what we burning up, burning up. What you ain't know, oh, we burning up, burning up. This shit so hot, it's burning up. Just go ahead and turn this up.